The starter has called the field to the gate. This field is in motion and approaching the start. And they're off. And it's a battle into the first turn for control. The battle continues by the half and approaching the far turn. Stride for stride past the three-quarter pole and approaching the top of the stretch. And as they hit the top of the stretch, it's Mission Brief, foiled again, Muscle Hill, Captain Treacherous, and Vegas Vacation, Lucky Jim, a rock and roll dance, Be a Magician, Sebastian K approaches the line, Guccio is coming late, and as they hit the wire, it's too close to call.
Now here's North American Harness Update on SRN1.
Not just SRN1, but everywhere else around the world, including but not limited to Paraguay, Lithuania, Zimbabwe, and any other country with some kind of dial-up modem access which can get on to this great, wonderful interspace of the www.facebook.com's, periscope.net's, Instagram.IG's. Ladies and gents, North American Harness Update is coming through all of these interfaces into your households. We have our permits. Don't worry. This is not illegal broadcasting. We have all the documentation, the 6820s, the 4400s, the 1920s by 1080s, every single piece of legislation imaginable to make sure that we can penetrate the force fields of your internet households and bring you this wonderful harness racing action as we do each and every week on whatever we this is what North American Harness Update. I forgot what the show is called. I just do so many shows. And of course, with this show, I'm also doing double duties because our boy Rod Allums Jr. decided that, you know, he just has to party a bit more than he usually does on this show. For avid viewers of North American Harness Update, you will know that every time Rod is on, you can just probably assume he's hungover purely by how he looks. But this time, there's a higher probability that he might be hungover right now. Who is not hungover is our boy, Mr. Michael J. Prebozy from NAHUPicks.com, our Mohawk expert. Mike, I have to say, doing double duty right now is currently having me a bit scatterbrained. How's it going on your end?
Well, because that horse I told you was taking money at Woodbine just went off and off the screen.
Wait, went off
There's no way you could ever bet off the lines, but whatever.
Okay, so went off the screen in the good way, as in they won.
Yeah.
Oh, then that means you lost.
Yeah, great. If you were here, I'd choke you.
I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. It's like, how can the patient be mad at the doctor for telling him his prognosis? You can't be. The doctor's just trying to communicate the information. The patient's just trying to understand. I, however, am just confused because I see all these blinking lights and these swirly durlies, and I am only 3/5 with this planet right now, which means it's a perfect time to start handicapping. We have racing action from London to go through, racing action from the Meadowlands to go through, from Mohawk, from Yonkers, from Rosecroft potentially, and that's it. Nothing else, nothing more. We're gonna go home after all of that and make sure our soufflés don't get burnt to a crisp. But Mike, let's start things off this evening with the NAHU Pick4 over at the Raceway at Western Fair District. $5,000 guaranteed pool, which is getting underway momentarily, if I'm not mistaken. Race 7 coming up in 7 minutes, so we'll fly through this ticket. And what's interesting is how much Rod and I, yes, I'm talking about the Rodney Allums Jr. himself and myself, whose name might be Joints McScriggles, as far as my brain can tell. We have pretty much a similar approach to this sequence over at Western Fair, but Mike, you're a bit of an outlier because in this first leg, you take two of the horses Rod and I like, but you throw on one more.
I like being an outlier because then I have a good chance to win most of the time. I'm 3 deep. I'm using the Juan Gordon machine who raced decent enough. I know the horse is 1 for 27. I don't like that improvement off the bat. And, this horse has gotten checks at this level in the past. Had no chance last time. Draws the rail. Interesting little price in the race. It's very last is very obvious. Gets a driver switch, draws well, comes from Rito, goes to one of the top barns at 30%, and is probably going to be sub-even money in the race. And the 4, Be My Delight, third off the layoff, gets Kelly. I like the driver switch there. Broke time getting the rail. Gets off the rail now. Only 9 lifetime starts. 2 of those wins. 3-year-old filly. If this horse can maybe, trip out 2-4.
You see, the 1 and the 2 are the only horses I could even fathom using in this race. The 1 purely off of post. That last race isn't necessarily stellar. However, the horses she finished third to are much better than most of these horses, quote-unquote horses, that are going to be lining up behind the gate for this race. And given the inside draw, too, she's most likely going to go towards the front. And if she does not get the front, then Saintsbury Last probably does. And whether she gives way like she has over at Rideau, I don't know. But because it's a half mile, maybe she holds the lead a bit better. That's the thought process. But everyone's going to think that and know that because she's the morning line favorite. And unfortunately, I have not much else to offer about this race. I'm not a fan of Be My Delight starting from anywhere that's not the rail, unless she can somehow get, well, I don't even say unless she can get back to that form she showed in February, because that was against weaker competition. I just don't think that she can race anywhere in this field from not the rail. That's a sentence that I am certain is correct. 1-2 for me, 1-2 for Rod, brings us to the second leg. It's the 8th race. These are open claimers for $7,000. 8 horses going postward. Once again, Mike, you're going 3 deep.
The one little quick's obvious, basically in the exacta the last 5 races, draws better and, does very well. 11 wins last year, 5 wins this year at this level. The horse is 12 years old, but, he's just, he's a gamer. He shows up every week. Have to use him. The 3, Nate's Bucky, I think, is interesting off the driver switch and a post switch also. This is a 26% barn. The horse won 6 times last year. 10-1 morning line. I'll bite a little there. And then the 6, Burroughs. This is another one going to that top claiming barn. Claimed last time after drop to 7,000 and fits at this level. Year, but. Now, getting the new surroundings, I think, will improve. So 1-3-6.
I agree with the 1. Don't agree with the 3. I'm with you on that 6. Nate's Bucky, I'm not a big fan of the time off. And then looking back at some of his lines, sure, he had some of those outside draws, but the races he did perform somewhat well in were against those conditioned 7,000 claimers as opposed to the open ones. You're going to get a great price out of them. If I'm wrong, you're going to get paid well, but you got to beat the math in the 1 and the 6. Little quick, as you talked about, is hit the exacta in 5 of his last 6 starts and now gets an inside draw. When he had an inside draw last on March 13th, he won by a head as the odds-on favorite and has since had to race from post either in the second tier or outside of the rail to end up finishing second or first as he has in his last 5 starts. Very obvious, though, 8-5 on the morning line. And Barossa Blue Jeans is probably going to be involved just because it's St. Louis hopping aboard for this Danielle Neal horse first start off the claim. Parked the first half of the mile last time against this group, and this was dropping out of the claiming handicap ranks. So now he's making his second start dropping down to this lower level. Doesn't have a post advantage per se, but can get off the gate and show speed. And that speed could be enough to just get him into contention to the point that if you're just towards the front, you have a better chance of winning. It's as simple as that. If you're racing from last, you got more work to do than the horse racing from second. Simple algebra that I don't need to draw diagrams for to explain to you. I'm 1-6 in the second leg. Third leg is race number 9. Mike, Zenda Ballykiel seems like the obvious horse here, but you found one more to use.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 crushed last time for Johnson. Draws well again. That's, that horse came from Woodbine and just never really looked like the leader last time. And this is pretty much the same type of horses. But the 3 Apocalypse Sealster, raced optional 15s at Flamborough and got a decent check there. And that was a wake up too, which I was that, or off form, and then all of a sudden wake up. And then I know the horse go for 13 this year, but won 5 times last year, draw. And if the 2 maybe comes back a little bit to them, I think the 3 does the race, and you're going to get a better price. So 2-3.
Hello. For me, I got confused because I started hearing these people talking to me that weren't here. More on that later. I'm 2-6 in this race. Zenda Ballykiel, I also agree, is going to be tough to beat off of that wire-to-wire mile he put in last time out, even though now he's moving up the class ladder as opposed to where he was, which compared to this would be lower on the class ladder. The only other horse I find that could possibly be in contention is the 6 Rasmus, even though he has the post disadvantage. This guy has been racing well against this group over the last couple of weeks, not missing the board in his last 6 starts. Another one that could just get off the gate, sit up close. If he sits up close, he could possibly make that winning move late to go to the front, because that's how you have to win races. People don't tell you this in the business. You got to go to the front to win the race. It's when you look at some people driving, it looks like they're trying to win by getting second. No. That's not how it goes. You got to hit the wire first. And Rasmus can possibly be in the position to hit the wire first. So I'm 2-6 in the third leg. Final leg is the 10th race. Non-winners of $30,000 lifetime trotting event for a purse of $9,900 or $9,900 in those layman's terms. Mike, once again, you're the deepest of all of us with 4.
4 deep. The 5's obvious. Broke last time from the 7 hole. Still just barely missed to be third. It was a very slow last quarter. Fits if flat, but hard to trust. The 6, Winsong Ophi, was second last time. This number is a 30,000 life. And, this may not help, but I don't mind those last couple races from this one. Had tough posts 2 and 3 back. So just pitch those. Prior to that, enough. I think that was the use. The 8, AJ Ricochet. This horse gets the inside draw. Speak of last 2 years, but was bet, and I like the post. And then the 9 Avatar Sealster is obvious. Then Lecherment. I'm curious to see what kind of trip that they go with this horse, but 5 wins this year, that's really hard to ignore. 5, 6, 8, 9.
Okay, I got a minute, 30 seconds to go. I've performed, I've done things less time. Okay, 4 and butts and guts and the 4 horse in this last leg. Broke last time out, but because of interference, wasn't his fault. Never got a chance to race. When this horse does get a chance to race, he's usually in contention, either parking the mile and finishing second or going first over and finishing third. So if he can work out an easy trip that's not him parking or going first over, I see him having a shot and being in contention. She's a chunky monkey, broke at the start last time, but still came back to finish third by a neck. So long as she goes to Flat City, then maybe her legs will go to Victory Road. And then Winsong Ophelia. This one can also show speed from that outside draw. If she can stay flat too, she's likely going to be placed up close. If she's placed up close, she'll have a better chance to win than if she raced from off the pace. I am 4, 5, 6 in the last leg of the Pick4's tricks. My ticket goes as follows. For 20 cents, I am 1-2 with 1-6 with 2-6 with 4-5-6. $4.80 for 20 cents. Mike, your ticket.
1-2-4 with 1-3-6 with 2-3 with 5, 6, 8, 9. It's 14-40. I played a couple.
And Rod, Rod's not here. That's right. I had to have my brain repicture that.
What was his ticket? Do you have it?
I do have it. Rod goes 1-2 with 1-6 with 2-6 with 359. That's $4.80, 420 cents. Him and I agreed on
tonight, boys.
Him and I agreed on everything but the last leg.
It's a lot of chalk you guys have. I hope that this might pay $12 if you hit it.
Oh, I'm hoping it will pay enough that I could pay my wife about 1/100th of her alimony, or at the very least,
about that.
at the very least, buy myself Kraft cheese slices, so I'll be halfway to a cheese sandwich. Huh?
Not funny.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit close to home. Okay, here we go. Race time over at London. As this field for the first leg of the NAHU Pick4. In line, in behind, in motion, and now they're away with Saintsbury last leaving to the inside. Center comes Bia My Delight. Godro Machine towards the inside, protects position as My Mama's Cranky swoops up to race from third around the first turn. Bia My Delight threw in some steps as Saintsbury last secured control towards the backstretch. My Mama's a Cranky tucked in ahead of Godro Machine, who's now racing fourth into the backstretch. Just Say You Love Me's fifth then, ahead of Miss Ohio. They're then back to DG's Frozen and Hallelujah as they go on to the opening quarter, led by the odds-on 1-5 favorite Saintsbury Lassen, 29-3. She leads a length and a half over Bia My Delight. My Mama's Cranky from third now tips off the rail to venture uncovered while Godro Machine tries to catch that cover. Third over, Just Say You Love Me turning into the stretch while Miss Ohio sits towards the rear yet to join the flow ahead of Hallelujah and DG's Frozen in the back of the pack. Half-mile bound Saintsbury Lass now engaged by My Mama's Cranky, who's a neck away on the outside. Godro Machine races up to be third, 2.5 lengths off the top as they go past the half in a minute 4, 31-1 for that second quarter. Saintsbury Lass now a length better than My Mama's Cranky to the backstretch. Bia My Delight gaps from the pocket third, now stride for stride with Godro Machine racing in fourth. 3 wide comes Just Say You Love Me to the outside of Miss Ohio with room to tip out now as the backfield bunches up. Saintsbury Lass, though, her lead is widening over My Mama's Cranky as they go past 3/4 in 1:31, 30-1 for that third quarter, and Saintsbury Lass now owns a 3.5 length lead on My Mama's Cranky midway around the final turn. Godro Machine to the inside is holding third as Bia My Delight drops out of contention, turning for home. Saintsbury Lass, 2.5 lengths better than My Mama's Cranky. The backfield reeling him in a touch. Saintsbury Lass looking for the line into the final 16th up the inside. Miss Ohio and late on the scene, Hallelujah. But Saintsbury Lass holds on to win in 2:02 and 3. Miss Ohio up the rail for second, tight for third. Well, that's part of the reason why we're going to hope for $12 in this Pick4 sequence.
Yeah.
1-5 favorite.
Everything was just so bad there. You got 30-1 first up the whole way. Jeez.
And you got a 38-1 sliding up the inside for second.
Well, that was a smart drive. In other words, I mean, that's a tough punch there. That's just, there's not a lot there.
There was not a lot on paper. That's true. I think Godro Machine.
Woodbine are massive, and I'm just like, it's really bad. I'm so mad at myself currently.
2, 6, 4, 7, the unofficial top 4. I thought BMI Delight went off stride. That must have been Godro Machine.
It was the one, yeah.
1-5 over 35-1 over 6-1 over 7-1 in that 7th race at London. We're all advancing in that Pick4. But Mike, I know you're going, but there's so many more Pick4s I want to talk about, and I'm glad you have enthusiasm because we got to go to the Meadowlands, which is conveniently to my right, apparently. I don't know why I'm pointing in this direction, but the Meadowlands, if I had to guess, is that away. And if we go that away, we'll see that their $50,000 guaranteed Pick4 starts, as it does each and every race card, with the 8th race tonight. we open up our past performances. You got to open up the past performances before you handicap anything, or you could just be like my father and read the tote board and not look at a program at all. The 8th race is a non-winners of 12-5 trotting event. By NAHU's to 12-5, that is the amount earned in their last 5 starts. Purse of $17,500 in this opening leg of the Pick4 over at the Meadowlands. And Mikey, I think you're chalking out here in the first leg.
Just a tad. I mean, this is a tough race, only because, you know, this is top level, but a lot of these horses maybe don't necessarily belong at this level. You know, I think that, and then you got the 10 that's drawn wide, and I think that sort of eliminates him. But I'm too deep in the first race, and you know, before Rosita should have won 2 back, and just Hockey Hanover, who was winning about its 3rd or 4th in a row at the time, and in another sloppy track, you know, this horse was, you know, wide most of the way and just, you know, couldn't quite reach again. But this seems like, you know, his race to lose, given this draw. You know, he's going to move earlier with the, and he's going to be tough to catch. You know, especially with some of these inside horses that like to sit like the 1, 2. I don't know what he's going to do off the gate, especially off, you know, a break last time. That horse could sit a little bit before control. So I'll use that one, and then this, who's a Woodbine that was crushing back in October at upper levels. Those numbers of 11,000, numbers of 12.5s up there are very good. And, you know, then all of a sudden the horse disappears. 2 qualifiers with, you know, sub 28 kickers. A sloppy track. This was handled in the past. It's on. Hard for me to leave out, you know, for a class. And the horse is lightly raced, but won last year. I'm going to, you know, try that one also.
For a Dreamer, seems like he's coming into this race much sharper than his morning line shows. Those 2 qualifiers are good, with a 56-4 mile first time out, and then tightening up with a 55-1 the next start behind a horse named Osterk. Whoever an Osterk is, I'll have to get back to you on. We do have our Webster's English Dictionary on the case to try and figure out, well, unless it's not an English word. Oh, no. We don't have time to think about that. For a Dreamer, though, did qualify well when he ended his season last year, was racing against similar company as a 3-year-old and winning up at Mohawk. So that, along with the good qualifiers, makes it seem like this horse is ready to go at first asking. Not only that, it's Jimmy Takter's former first trainer, Per Engblom, now in charge of the horse stable. I think they call it a stable. I don't know. I'm on a different planet right now. Rosita has had every opportunity to win and still refuses to win. For some reason, though, I still use this horse in this sequence. He rode second over cover last time as the favorite. Finished 3rd behind She's on a Cruise, Diogi, both of whom are better horses. On paper, they would beat this field easily. But Rosita really should have won that race off of every line he's thrown in. And yet, I'm not sure this horse even has winning on its mind. I'm not sure he even knows how to win anymore. At the end of the day, though, he should at least be in contention, and he appears capable of winning if everything and absolutely everything goes his way. If he goes off the favorite, I want nothing to do with him, but he might be like a second.
He will be the favorite. Unless they bet the 6, he will be the favorite.
And that's the thing is I have a hard time using this horse just because he's going to be the favorite. I'm very tempted to throw him off the ticket because of that, but I still have that inkling that there's the slightest chance.
Anybody else?
I also use the 2, Double L Lindy, because you throw out that last race where he broke early in the mile. The start before that, he showed some speed when winning against numbers of 6,000. Sure, that's 2 levels below this, but this isn't necessarily the strongest grouping of the 12-5 group. And the 12-5 group, use different words, Ray. And so now with an inside draw and a gate speed and his gate speed, he should at the very least be in contention, and whether the front holds or not is a question that I can't answer right now because it's been so all over the place during the card.
But, you know,
but he at least will be forwardly placed, and that could be a good thing, depending on what ways the winds are blowing. 246 for me in the first leg of that pick 4. The second leg's the 9th race, an hours of 6,100 their last 5 starts. We got 1, 2, 10 horses going postward here, and Mike, you use half of them.
Yeah, I think it's extremely wide open. Those numbers of 6,000 mishmash of horses coming up, but I think you can go. And the one sheer talent. This is Sturrock, draws inside. Just pitch at Coconut Race. I could care less about that. Prior to that, the horse was racing decently at Freehold. 5 wins this year. Draws the inside. Has a 54-2 mark at the Meadowlands this year. Definitely used for me. The 3, Kimberly comes on that. He gets driver McCarthy on with stakes lines. And obviously was better earlier than you, but the qualifiers aren't 26-4 kick. He usually brings them back ready to go, so use that one. Third back, Marcus is back. His trainer, and this horse has been facing some difficult races. That was a 50-1 mile last time this horse was in. They're not going to go anywhere close to that. 4 wins last year. I think worth a use. The 7, Heaven, kicked in out of that same race as the 6 last time, kicked 26-3 in there. Has some stakes lines at Yonkers earlier in the year. So, not without the outside posts. These inside ones aren't ready to fire. In the 8, Family Roll, race against Rock and Praline last time in that wide open race, and didn't race bad, I didn't think. 6:27 match there. This is, I wouldn't necessarily say an either bunch, but just a different bunch. The horse will be ignored again. This one, another one, 6, 7, and 8.
Oh, those were a lot of numbers. I have less, but they are good numbers nonetheless. Kimberly, you did touch on. These Ox Fenstead horses are worth considering at first asking, even though one of them I just saw did not win tonight. I have no idea where the horse finished. I just saw a Cancellary horse won the 6th race. And how that horse won, I have no clue off of the lines that I read. But at the same time, I was either reading the Meadowlands program or a copy of Atlas Shrugged. I don't know what I was doing this afternoon. But I'm looking at Kimberly right now with 2 good qualifiers entering into this race. The most recent one being a 26-4 kicker into a 52-3 mile. That's just a positive thing to see in general. The horse shows some kind of get up and go, as in this horse may just get up and go to Winland. I don't know what they call it anymore. I haven't won a race since the 1800s. I miss the days of yore when I was able to win races, but maybe, just maybe, I will get a little morsel of glimmer and jazz. Speaking of jazz, I also use the 8, Family Roll Call. As we all know, that's related to jazz. This one's just been racing against much tougher in her last couple of starts. She raced much better earlier in the season against an hours of $8,500 group, and that's more comparable to this level than the mares that she was facing in previous starts, because you got horses like Rockin' Praline and Stylish Beachwear, mares that race more towards the upper level conditions on this ladder, and now they're out of this race. So Family Roll Call now ascends to the top spot class-wise within this grouping, and that could play well for her in the end. She likes to stick up close. If she rides up close, then she'll just do her regular thing that could result in victory. I also throw on the 9, She's Just a Delight. She tried going first over in her first start off a 6 scratch last week. That wasn't any good. She ended up finishing 5th by 2 lengths as a result. Still came in 27 and change while doing it. Note back earlier in March, she floated up first over to end up winning against against similar mares, rather. Fairly easily, even though it was a narrow finish. If she can somehow replicate that form, now making her second start off a 6 scratch, she could be live here at a decent price. So I'm going to be 3, 8, 9 in the second leg. Third leg is the 10th race, third prelim of the Wiggle It Jiggle It. Mike, how do you not single the 3?
Well, I mean, I know this horse woke up and crushed, and I agree with you, but I feel like that there's other horses in the race. Well, last time, really, everyone in this horse to kick 26 home. The one race well enough there, so I'll use that one. The three's obvious. The six, Blacklight, race straight onwards a 2 and 2 and 2. Aforementioned, or 2. Town Dietrich lands here. This horse is lightly raced and could definitely improve. And I think that horse off the ticket. And then the 9, that as it was in the slow time on April 5th, that never looked like a loser. Struggled last time, now gets Lasix for Burke. Jinger lands here, and that's not without a chance. 1-3-6-9.
You roll with Papa Joe, just won so decisively last time, going first over and then cruising to victory by like a length and a half or a length and a quarter and 26-1. When I see wins like that, it's very tough to not think that horse is just better than everyone. Sugartown did kick home well, to end up finishing third, but he's been chasing horses in recent weeks. Prince of Tides, I need to see more from him, even though he was good in his first start back from the rail and gets the rail again. But to me, it just seems like everyone in this race is a notch under Roll with Papa Joe. And if he gets away towards that middle of the pack and just pulls a similar move, the race is probably over. But then again, I saw David Miller drive a horse 53 3 to the half, so I think all hell could just break loose at the same time and knock me out of the sequence. I'm still going to, for lack of better judgment, single the 3, roll with Papa Joe, and move on to the final leg, the 11th race. Numbers of 6,000 in the last 5 starts. These are trotters, 10 of them lining up. Mike, I thought this was the toughest race in the sequence, yet this is not the race you've gone deepest in. You went only 3 deep.
Yeah, free, and there's other ways to go in here, but for cost purposes, I'm at $20 a horse right now. We have I think the obvious Explosive Bridge raced extremely well, a big price against Roger, who wasn't losing that race better than he has in the last 6 starts. You're going to get a lot from price though. Dietrich, I would say this horse is probably sub 3-1, maybe the most likely winner given the setup. The 1 is interesting. Land over, pretty good. March flat track. You getting up, then really had absolutely no chance. 3 back, 2 back. This time, was outside a long way again. First draws well now inside, and I think could get a trip and will be ignored. You're going to get a price there, and then the 6 has a lot of back class. Won 3 races out of 19 last year. A decent qualifier, kicked in 27-3, gets the big track back. That horse was in that 4 Dreamer qualifier. That was, I feel like a tough spot. This horse is 3 for 7 on an off track. David Miller signs on. He's the one that qualified the horse. Barn, like the possibilities here off the lab. 1 finish.
We only agree on 1 horse here, and that's the 2 Explosive Ridge. This horse, I feel, is only a competitor if he shows some kind of speed from that inside draw, especially since he's had those outside posts. He most likely was lagging off the gate or moving for more of a tactical position because of how much ground he would have to cover to the first turn from those outside posts. But if we remember back, it was about a month ago at this point, this horse won. I'm pretty sure it's either on the lead or from the pocket from post 9 at like 80-1. And since then has not really replicated that kind of performance. But now in this weaker group from that inside post off of that mile where he finished second to Rock of Cashel, it's probably going to be in his best interest to go and sit up close to the pace and just hope that he can outkick whoever's in front of him late. Next up then, the 5 Round Town Rocker. He was parked 3 wide to the quarter when trying to leave. After that, had to duel around the final turn, but gave way in the stretch to finish 5th by 2 lengths. He likes to be up close. He's probably going to be up close. This is another race where I handicapped it somewhat, thinking horses will be on the lead, doing well on the lead, but depending on how the wind's blowing, things can just totally all go haywire. All of the hay could just go blowing across the wire. It could just be catastrophist. But nonetheless, if it's not that way, Roundtown Rocker could get up towards the lead, sit a pocket trip, and then go to bye-bye land up the passing lane. That just develops when horses on the lead drift out. Tech Titan I throw on just first, making his first start off the claim. He's moving up from the bottom level and hasn't won in recent weeks, but moves into the Tim Lancaster barn, who can usually get these horses ready to go. May need a start, may not need a start, is going to be a price, and if the race just breaks loose, I could definitely see him getting involved, even though he's struggled to just beat any horse in the Nars at 3,500 level. Finally, I throw on the 9, Ulan Noir. He qualified by an ice attraction last time out in a start without hopples. He now makes his first pari-mutuel start without hopples, and also returns to a class level where over the winter here at the Meadowlands. He was racing decently, finishing second. He was getting checks, but he's definitely going to need some kind of trip to tow him into contention. If that happens, he'll definitely be live at a price. So I'm going to be 2,579 in the last leg of that pick four, which makes my ticket go as follows. For 50 cents, I am 246 with 389 with 3 with 2,579. That's $18 for 50 cents. Mike, your ticket.
4-6 with 1-3-6-7-8 with 1-3-6-9 with 1-2-6. It's $60, and I did play.
Wow, I can't believe how quickly we're getting through these now that Rod's not here. We should probably apply for a mortgage while we're
Rod
up.
tends to ramble, but
Well,
it's about 20 seconds.
we got 20 seconds to go till this second leg of the pick four at London.
2-1.
2-1 on the 6, Barossa Blue Jeans. Shout out Terry Wilson, who's watching the stream right now. How do you do, Terry?
He's really good at London. He's better than Rod. Don't tell Rod.
Well, even if Rod was listening, he probably wouldn't remember. Because they're going to the gate now. I don't even know what that meant. I think I'm just going to go to the point in this show where I'm just going to start saying words and hope that they make sense. It's going to get dangerous, folks. 9:37 p.m. on the East Coast. We're just getting started as this pick four reaches its second leg over at London. I'm live to the 1 and 6. Mike's live to the 1, 3, and 6. Rod's also live to just the 1 and 6. 9-5 favorite, the 6, Barossa Blue Jeans. Second choice at 2-1, the 1 Little Quick. Third choice at 5-1, the 2 Lumiere. Field of 8, in line, in behind. They're in motion, and now they're away. Barossa Blue Jeans asked for speed, but she's lagging as the inside quintet beat her to the turn. Little Quick from the rail post leads Lumiere, who tucks into the pocket. Outside then, that comes Lumiere. Nate's Bucky away in third to the back stretch. It's actually Mr. Big W. The colors look the same, folks. Mr. Big W to the front. Lumiere gets the pocket from Nate's Bucky. Third, Big is better than back fourth. Ahead of Little Quick fifth. Outside from sixth come Barossa Blue Jeans ahead of Distinctive Sean and Big Green Tractor. 29 seconds for the opening quarter. Mr. Big W rounding the far turn first time. A length and a half better than Lumiere from the pocket. Here comes Big is better, marching up to be third. And now within 3 lengths of the front, moving to the stretch first time. Nate's Bucky shuffled back to the inside of Barossa Blue Jeans, who's now second up in the flow. Little Quick locked at the rail as Big Green Tractor gets underway from the back of the pack, having one beaten. That's Distinctive Sean to the half-mile pole. Mr. Big W passes that station in 59 and 3, 30 and 3 for that second quarter, rounding the clubhouse turn once more. Outside and not gaining, Big is better, drops back to be a length off the front, while Lumiere sits tightly from third into the back stretch. Barossa Blue Jeans towed to be second over, and now pulls 3 wide for St. Louis to the back backside. Barossa Blue Jeans stalled as on the front, Mr. Big W still holds sway. Big is better from in between, still a length away to the outside of Lumiere. The Nate's Bucky is now locked in as Little Quick splits horses from the rear, 3.5 lengths from the front, past 3/4 and 1:29.1, 29.3 that third panel. Mr. Big W turns for home in front. Lumiere pops the pocket. Nate's Bucky with room to the inside. Little Quick tries to take the short route, and Barossa Blue Jeans stalled. It's Mr. Big W and Lumiere to the line. Lumiere, though, getting by, and Lumiere gonna light up the tote at 9-1 over Mr. Big W, tight for third. Okay, so that's what happens when one of the favorites has nothing, and the other favorite just gets no room ever. As Lumiere,
the one got a terrible drive, but he's usually at the mercy of it. But the two got a perfect drive.
Oh yes,
so there's that.
Lumiere in the right place at the right time gets up to win it 9-1 over Mr.
There's
Big
nobody
W.
close. I mean, look at the top two; they're like light years ahead of everything else.
Yeah. 159-4 that time, 9-1 over 16-1. Little Quick did get third at 6-5, and Big Green Tractor fourth at 24-1. God, the goo is really getting to me for some reason. I also it's just I was having a hard time reading anything there. Are you okay, Mike? You doing good?
Oh, I'm good.
You doing well? That's good. That's good to hear. I, however, probably took too much Ambien, and this is to my surprise because I never thought I was even on Ambien. So the question is,
Having trouble sleeping.
I have been having trouble sleeping. I've been doing it too much, quite frankly.
Well,
But you know they say that, hey, at least I'm not going on Twitter while on Ambien. They say that sleeping is very much like being awake, but at night. I don't know who says that. I just hear them say it every now and again as Lumiere heads to the winner's
Who's
circle.
taking money here at the Meadowlands? 2-1.
Oh, they opened up for the first leg of the Pick4?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, who won the 7th? Gold Orchid? Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Gold Orchid dropped out of the blue chip matchmaker over to the
From
Meadowlands.
way off it.
Oh, I guess the win.
Closer's not exactly a bad place to be tonight.
Yeah, I guess the winds have picked up once more. The track's also been downgraded to sloppy. Oh, wow. That was quick. Because you can see in the replay, it's not even wet. So now we're just going to be dealing with, how do you say, awful surface. I don't know. It's going to be, I have no clue how this track's going to play. It's either going to be big upsets or the public's going to be right like they are most of the time. Interesting enough, though. Oh, that's what you were saying. Double L Lindy's the favorite. That is, oh, wow. That's weird. Especially now that the track's been downgraded. I thought that would sway people off of him.
I don't know.
Especially since his break last time came on an off track.
I wasn't really. I guess I get it, but this horse just isn't the same as it used to be for one. And, I mean, I get the connections and everything, but it's hard for me to take 2-1 on this horse.
I agree that that's a low price to take, but at the same time, he's only had 4 starts this year.
Yeah.
And so he at the very least looked like he was starting to get into some kind of form. It might not have been the same form that got him into the preferreds last year.
Mm-hmm.
But this seems like a bunch that he could definitely face. Because, I mean, Shady McCoy is a non-winners of 8,000 type. I don't know what Stonebridge Gamble is. Same with Reseda. Lindy's Big Bang is scratched. Arrakis is way over his head.
What do you think of the 5?
What do I think of DW's Revenge? I saw that he was last to Fearless Man, but my issue is that he was still last. Like, sure, he's making that drop from numbers of 22 to 12, but in that race at 6-1, he was more than 10 lengths off of him the entire time. That race did not look right.
I don't think, because 14's been only 89,000 made. This might might just be a little bit too tough. Actions, though, are always live. So I didn't know what to make of this one. I was close to using one of money.
I would not. It would be one thing if the horse, pulled and was somewhat in contention, but he was nowhere in that race.
Yeah. You can't take, I don't think you can take 7, 8, 9, or 10. I mean, the 10, I guess, but not from out there, yeah?
Well, the 10 can get towed into its second over, and if the track's been playing to closers as we've seen in the last couple of races, that's a spot he's won from before on this track. Sure, he went first over last time when brushing to victory, but still, he was about mid-pack and just made his move at the most opportune point. The most opportune point this week could be around the final turn, getting up third over, and then flying home with the wind to their back. This is the kind.
Right now, but whenever you try one of these horses, right? Just overall. But my problem is whenever he steps up to this level, he tends to not be quite as good.
Well, let's also take a look back into some of the last times he was up at this level. So back on March 15th, he was in hours at 17.5, lost at 2 a.m., Swansea, Life Well Lived. Well, we know 2 a.m. is a trotter much better than all of these. Before that, Sutton, Trolley, and Secret. He very much was in over his head in those races, but those...
No, I agree with that.
But
I agree with those two.
But back then...
But now, you add that and you add the 10 hole in here, that's, not an easy spot to win for any trotter. I don't care who you are.
No, I agree, but I'm also arguing in terms of class, he fits this level because back then, even though we would step up to the hours of 12, those were classes that were often annexed with those higher level trotters just drawing outside posts and being handicapped. Mm-hmm. And so he would have a post advantage in those races, but still had to beat some of the best trotters on the grounds.
Right. No, this certainly isn't that. Depending on, though, what the 6 comes back as, that horse could be the one in this race. At least I'm hopeful.
Well, and the public seems to think that too, as now he's been bet down to the 2-1 favorite. While
I hate laid up stuff though. That's not my thing. You know that. I don't like that.
Yeah, you were never really big into basketball, but I could see this horse.
I'm not into that.
I could see this horse doing it, especially because Engblom's horses have been debuting well. I forget what his statistics are.
He's like 40%, but I mean, with it, but got this kind of pop. You're supposed to be doing that. I'm very indifferent. I'm get through the race, honest.
Well, while we have time and we're waiting for this race to go, we can dive into the Can-Am Pick4, which has 2 legs of the Meadowlands Pick4 we already talked about. We just got to go into the final 2 races over at Mohawk Park. And interestingly enough, Mike, the first leg, the 10th race, which are now is a $25,000 pacing mares, you and I have the exact same 4 horses.
Is that right?
In this race. Yeah, the 1, 2, 5, and 6. I know when I was looking up and down at this race probably 5 or 6 times because I just saw the 1 and the 5 in terms of class fitting this race. But then I said, no, you know what? The 2's been getting involved, but maybe is a notch below this. But then again, you can attest to the fact that Mohawk is so much trip that at a certain point, class is thrown out the window.
But the 2 has class. The 2 has a lot of talent. Mm-hmm. If you look back, that number's of 11,000. The fact that the horse took a month off and still won and kicked 26-3, that shows you what kind of horse this is. Mm-hmm. Okay, because horses don't really do that there at these upper levels. Then this horse had no chance in that Outlaw Fireball race, none. So just completely get rid of that race. Then bounces back to win numbers of 16,000, beating most of the. And then last time, that Double A Mint, Outlaw Fireball, those are just better horses. I mean, that's the topical, obviously. Even though the 1,000, there's only really like 3 that fit that. A lot of these other ones, I think, are a little bit of a notch below.
Well, and then
and I don't like the 9 from the Outpost. I mean, that's an automatic pitch for me.
Oh yeah.
So 5's going to be because of the trip it got last time. It was parked for its life the entire back and then eventually succumbed. But gets a racing double A mint here. And, this horse is no lock means. There's only one out of his last 6.
Mm-hmm.
On had a stone cold perfect trip last time, and I needed her a pick 5. It was last Friday night, and of course, I have no idea. Kind of went inside when I chance to go outside. Just sat there, and the top 2 just kind of went away, and I don't really know what to make of her. When I hate peeve in racing is losing off a perfect trip. Nothing to do with you after that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And this horse lost off a perfect trip, and I have a hard time with that.
Wait, which horse was that?
One.
Oh, the one. Oh, yes. And then the 6 was the other interesting class horse that I threw on at a potential price because I see lines in the preferred and I see lines at this level. She was second against this group back on March 23rd. But it seems like with Ain't 3 Okay, you're betting so much on her being in the right place at the right time. Sure, Louis was jumping into the bike, but he's still got to get this mare into. She can kick home by the looks of it, but then for some reason she plateaus when she gets to this class level.
Yeah. She should have won last time.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of plotted in place until she saw another horse and then kicked. By that time, though, Sly Eleanor just kind of picked her off right on the wire.
Mm-hmm.
And that horse has been hot. It's won, I think, 4 out of 5. But I like that Waugh gets on this horse because I feel like that the aggression that he provides, even though McClure's fine, it's not the point of it, but just that Waugh being on this horse is extremely interesting, and you're going to get a decent. The only other horse I could see in the race, which I didn't include in my tickets, is the 7, just because it's Gallucci. And, that horse has some back numbers, and that last race wasn't horrible. I mean, if you can afford to throw the 7 on, I'd be honest.
I even though she was racing mostly against lesser last year.
Well, I mean, what do you mean?
Well,
if you look back, you got numbers at 26,000. I see requests for she finished second at double mint. It's numbers at 6. It's one of the top mares on the ground. Stand between your toes is in her lines. Lady Lay. Those are all top. I don't care what the classes are written for. Sorts. Anything numbers at 16,000, numbers at 26,000. Basically the same horses at this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I admittedly missed that when looking at those lines. However, we're both still one.
Just I think that's hard. So
we're both still 1, 2, 5, 6, and we differ slightly on the last race. I'm just looking at the numbers. Oh wait. No, we only have one number in common, and that's the 7. Okay. Because this last race in the Can-Am Pick4's the non-winners of 2. You are 4 deep.
Yeah, 4 deep. And I'm including some comebackers. The 3 is going to be a big favorite in there, I think.
She should be.
Five Life has top connections. Comes off a qualifier kicking 27-1, draws inside. But I'm going to use the 1. I was talking to Nick Boyd on Twitter, and he said that this horse was doing this year, and he thought, that she was going to be a decent New York sire horse. And so he's taking this with her. But look, she came back, kicked 28-2 in a qualifier, draws well. I think there's potential for this horse. This one of these kind of races that there's a lot of comebackers. You're not really sure the track's wet and things like that. I don't mind using that one. The 4, Jessica's Legacy, is actually my top pick. Third back for Cullen. And, drove well last time. Lost to Just My Shadow, Skater Chick. Skater Chick came back and crushed it 3-5 in the 7th tonight. that horse should, be well meant third back. I think you have to use that horse. And then the 7, Twinbee Tipster, just $1 has stakes lines at 2, and Jameson Sticks. This horse, could be definitely better. I think on the improved, to be sure, but maybe worth the use at a price, especially if the horse is getting better. So 1, 3, 4, 7 in that last would fine.
You see, for me, wait. Oh, my Lord. Did I put the wrong horse on? I think I put the wrong horse on my ticket.
Well, you have time.
I did. I meant to put the 3 instead of the 2. There's no way I'm using Macarita in that third leg of the Can-Am. That's my fault for having to do so many things last minute. I meant to use Manhattan Knight instead of Macarita's 0 for what? Her last 47, and I know that's coming from me, but this horse just refuses to win ever. There's no way I think she could win here.
Horse is 0 for 63.
Oh yeah, lifetime. This horse has never won ever.
Up check.
Yeah,
That's whatever.
She's a check machine. Manhattan Knight was the horse I meant to use off that qualifier, but she's incredibly obvious. I throw on then. I got this all wrong. I went. Where did
Ray's gonna fix his ticket while the Meadowlands goes.
I'm calling that race though. And while Mike's at it, he's going to perform a full tracheotomy on himself while talking about the Levy final. You want to stay tuned for that in the second hour of this show. Oh my Lord! I'll fix it during break as we're getting ready to go here for this opening leg of the Pick 4 at the Meadowlands. I'll talk about my leg when I get to it. Okay, when I get to it, I don't know. Okay. I'm live to the 2, 4, and 6. Mike's live to the 4 and 6. Scratch down to a field of 9. 8-5 favorite, the 6 for a Dreamer, who's gapping the gate slightly. Second choice at 4-1, the 10 Rock of Cashel. This field is in motion, in line, in behind, and now they're away. Arrakis from the outside leaves quickest with Rock of Cashel floating for position from the center. Comes DW's Revenge, and towards the inside, Double L Lindy gets to the pylons before going off stride. Double L Lindy on a break. Shady McCoy maneuvers around that one as Reseda ducks towards the back of the pack. He's the penultimate, leading Stars Above Alaraj, who moves outside to the opening quarter as Arrakis clears control. DW's Revenge sits second. Rock of Cashel's third. Stonebridge Gamble away fourth and 28-1 for a Dreamer. The favorite is in fifth out of Shady McCoy sixth. Reseda now angles off the rail for Dave Miller, as does Shady McCoy. So they box in the odds-on favorite for a Dreamer towards the back of the pack, as now there's a shuffle up front. DW's Revenge popped off the rail, circles past Arrakis and to the lead, moving to the half mile. Rock of Cashel stalks them from third, 2.5 lengths from the top. Shady McCoy now advances to be fourth first over. Up the inside comes Stonebridge Gamble, racing from fifth for a Dreamer, looking for room sixth to the inside of Reseda. They're then back to Stars Above Alaraj, and Double L Lindy has caught the field, racing from last. The half went in 59 seconds, 30-4 for that second quarter. Around the final turn, DW's Revenge now challenged by Rock of Cashel, who blows on by. Rock of Cashel now a length ahead of DW's Revenge to 3/4. Arrakis gives chase 3 lengths behind. Then a gap of 6 to Stonebridge Gamble, as For a Dreamer now has room to trot, but 8 lengths to make up on Rock of Cashel past 3/4 in 127-1. Rock of Cashel striding away from DW's Revenge into the final 16th. Then coming late, Stonebridge Gamble and For a Dreamer to the outside line coming. Rock of Cashel holding on from For a Dreamer. It's Rock of Cashel holding on by a length to win. For a Dreamer second in 155 flat.
Absolute disgrace of a drive on the 6th.
That was a perfect drive by Abatello to make sure the 6 doesn't win. Aye.
I knew when the 4 wasn't bad, and I just knew it.
I knew the moment.
And I knew when the 6 was driven like that, that he wasn't getting there. Of course, he'll win next week at 1-5, but
yeah, the moment the 6 could not get off the rail was when that horse lost the race.
But hey, the 10 deserved to win. He was driven correct.
Oh,
the 4 is garbage. You were right about that for sure. Terrible.
Where are we at London?
We're
Race
out
9
is where we are at London.
Race 9 is in 0 minutes. They're getting ready to go. We're going to go to break after this race over in London land. Okay. Fantastical. Meantime, I'm trying to fix something because we had a mishap with the radio. We have not been streaming on the radio. We've been streaming only on our video feed, which unfortunately that just means people get more of my face in their face, which we consider consensual. Okay, you're choosing to watch it. Over at London, though, this race has 1:30 to go. Okay. 1-2 favorite, the 2 sent to Ballykill. Does this horse lose? Really, does this horse lose? I don't think this horse loses.
Well, I mean, if you get as you got last week, yeah, you probably win. But being bet into the 5 and the 6, the 3 a little bit. 2-3 is $10. That's not horrible. I'm curious to see what these doubles are with the 3.
Whoa, hello. Noises are coming from everywhere. They are assaulting us. We must declare war on noises.
You getting all these noises?
I have no idea. All this happens just because we have no money for a producer. We are now taking donations. I will tear holes in my shirt and light myself on fire for money so we can hire a producer. So that way I don't have to multitask and my brain can work as one instead of as 30. Speaking of 30 seconds to go to post over at Western Fair. Which, I mean, there's not much to say about this race. It's a 6-horse field with a 4-5 favorite. The only other logical horse is 5-2. Really, it's just peak harness racing, if you ask me. I don't know if you asked me. I'm assuming you asked.
I really didn't ask you. I'm curious why the 3 is not taking more money in the race, but
Apocalypse.
I get the action on the 2. That was such a bad race last time. Field, I mean, this is a little better race than that.
Shipping from Flamborough. Yeah, that's all I got.
What, the 3?
Yeah. Those Flamborough lines are gonna look a bit better than London ones in general. Oh, happy birthday, Al! Hold on, we gotta take a second to wish happy birthday to Al. I don't know who Al is, but just on the Western Fair feed, it's just this giant owl. It's his birthday. Happy birthday from visiting from Vancouver. They have owls in Vancouver? Oh wow. Small world. Gates moving into position. It's post time. Over at the raceway.
Pick4 is going to be good now after that last race.
Okay.
Thanks, because I'm stubborn.
3-5 favorite.
Talking about it, I thought I should have used the 10 there.
3-5 favorite, the 2 Zenda Ballykeel. Second choice at 2-1, the 6 Rasmus. Apocalypse, Sealster, and Regal Beagle, both 6-1. A sextet in line, in behind, in motion, and now they're away. Rasmus to the outside, rolls towards the top, put in pie, protecting position, pushing for the pocket, while Zenda Ballykeel from that top trio ducks to third around the first turn. Then a gap of about 3.5 back to Apocalypse Sealster, racing from fourth. Fifth away, Old Friends Kentucky, and Regal Beagle rounds out the field to the back stretches. Rasmus, 9-5, leads a length and a half over Puddin' Pie. The favorite, Zenda Ballykeel, sits third, while Apocalypse Sealster drafts from fourth. Old Friends Kentucky tight in from fifth. And Regal Beagle now catches the field. They're single file past a 29-1 opening quarter, almost in post position order, but Rasmus wanted the top, leads here 2 over Put in Pie. Zenda Keel still races third, now begins to edge to the outside as Apocalypse Sealster prompts that one to go first up. Back then to Old Friends Kentucky, sticking towards the cones from 5th, and Regal Beagle last of all, past the half. Rasmus and Zenda Keel. Now the 2 favorites are going to spar through a 1 minute and 4 half. 31-3. Breather there for Rasmus. Rounding to the back stretch. He leads here by a neck. Outside Zenda Keel ranges closer. These 2 now match strides to 3/4. Behind them, Put in Pie. Asks for more pace. To the inside comes Old Friends Kentucky as Apocalypse Sealster begins to drop back. Regal Beagle locked towards the rear. Zenda Keel now clears Rasmus past 3/4 in 1:29-1, 28-2 for that 3rd quarter. Zenda Keel has edged away. He leads by 3.5 from Rasmus turning into the lane, and that margin just expands as Zenda Keel drifts a touch, but in the final 16th is well away. Zenda Keel under wraps, up for second. Looked like Apocalypse Sealster re-rallied there, and tight for third in 1:59-4. 3 to 5.
Good in the turns, but terrible in the straightaways.
3 to 5.
Do there.
3 to 5 favorite Zenda Keel up to win over. I believe that was.
Get you $10 there.
Was that the 3?
It was. I was watching him the whole time.
Oh wow. 2, 3, 1, 6, the unofficial top 4 there. 3 to 5 over 6 to 1 over 22 to 1 over 9 to 5 in the 3rd leg of the London Pick4. When we come back here, a North American Harness update, we got Levy's to talk about, the finals of which. And we also have more Pick4 from the Meadowlands, and the Can-Am Pick4 will be getting underway. You don't want to miss any of that, or maybe you do, and if you do, then, I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but rethink some of your life choices. What else do you have going tonight? You got a basketball game to watch? There's always going to be basketball games. There's only so much harness racing left in the world. Okay, if you change the channel at this point, I can't help you. More North American Harness update coming up after the birds chirp. All right, and we are back up and running here on the Maury Povich show. Maury Povich, joined here by Mike Prebozy. We've installed the... Blah, 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 blah.
You are not the father. That's what Maury does now. He just does eternity.
I may not be the father, but I am almost certain I am the Holy Ghost. We've installed the mood lighting here. You like this? You like? We got like some...
You're giving me sacrilege.
Well, if I'm giving you sacrilege, you're giving me back cutting out audio. So I think the exchange works out very well. All of this happens just because Rod decides to go to Vegas. Never asks us, you want to go to Vegas? You want to get married? You wanna just walk in the heat? Of course, that, when we're talking about Rod, has multiple meanings. But when we last left off here on the show, on the institution, that is North American Hearts Update, we got knocked out of both Pick4's. I didn't use Rock of Cashel, you didn't use Rock of Cashel, and the race set up perfectly for him to win at 4-1, which is, without a doubt, an underlay.
Very dumb that well, after we talked about it, I thought, boy, I really made a mistake by using because pointed to that as we kind of discussed it all, and you were sort of knew that the 10 was the sharpest horse in the race. I was just concerned about the post, but the way the track is played, it helped.
Not only that, I'm just realizing that in that entire moment where I was justifying Rock of Cashel being a valid contender, I never once dawned on me that I didn't have the horse on my ticket.
Yeah. I knew I was in trouble. It was basically hinged on especially because the 4 never took an ounce of money in the race.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew he was toast. And the 6, it was just a matter of where they're going to try. You know, I mean, that was the whole thing.
Which I feel like
they did. It just didn't work out.
It didn't. It wasn't in the way they wanted to try.
Right. I mean, the horse raced very well. It just came up a little short.
I don't think the horse
probably
came
kicked
up short.
Home freaking 26 in the race, but whatever.
That entire race changed when Eric Abatello pulled. That's what made the 6 lose. It's because he was about to pull, but then Eric got right around at the right time. Good move on his part.
Yeah.
I don't know where Shady McCoy finished though, but it was behind For a Dreamer, who was the best horse in that race. We move on to the Meadowlands as the second leg of the Pick4 is coming up. Ooh, belch time in 0 minutes to race 9, but 0, of course, as we all understand, is a flexible number. In all forms of math academia, 0 can be the equivalent of 4, could be the equivalent of 6. 0 can really equal anything. Which when I was growing up and going to my good old grade school, they were telling me 0 could be anything you want it to be. And I don't know if they were just trying to make light of the fact that most of us had nothing, but at the same time, that virtue is kind of rang true. Over at the Meadowlands, at the very least. The track didn't look that sloppy, though, when they went. Or I could just...
Some weather. Still getting some.
Well, everyone's getting weather. You can't stop getting weather. No town just calls up the sky and says, "Yeah, I think we're gonna hold off on the whole weather thing today. I got a wedding to go to." We only say there's weather when it's bad weather.
Right.
So then, what's the good weather? It's still weather, whether you like it or not. And this, ladies and gents, is one of my 95 theses that I am going to dump on the front door of each and every house in Washington, D.C. until we make it a law that daylight savings time either does not exist or we go all in. We push more than an hour ahead and an hour behind just for the fun of it. We're going to be adventurous with this legislation. But we don't have time to go deeper into it, into all of the nuances and the tax credits that would be a part of my proposal, because this 9th race of the Meadowlands is going. I'm sorry I can't talk about something interesting. I got to call the 9th race at the Meadowlands. The 8-5 favorite is the 3, Kimberly.
Too low.
That is too low.
So,
Second choice.
price on the 6th. 20.
Good luck getting the 6 across the wire. Second choice at 4-1, the 7, Parkin' in Heaven. Third choice at 5-1, the 4, Sass's Sister. Field of 10. In line, in behind, in motion, and approaching the start. Now they're away. Family roll call to the outside is a pushing out for a spot, as is Parkin' in Heaven, while to the inside comes Sheer Talent, and Kimberly getting towards the cones around the first turn. Sheer Talent secures command as Parkin' in Heaven now pushes up to brush towards the lead, but on that one's back, Family roll call races up into third. Kimberly shuffled to fourth, while Sass's Sisters away fifth. Amethyst Sealster then back in sixth at a Better Chill Out seventh. Modesty races from eighth. Then they're back to She's Just a Delight and Traffic Jam in the back of the pack. Family roll call clears through a 27-3 opening quarter and leads Parkin' in Heaven 2 lengths. Sheer Talents behind them in third, past 3/8 is the favorite Kimberly. Now angles off the rail from fourth for McCarthy and marches up towards the lead heading to the half. Sass's Sister picks up that one's cover, now second over within 4 lengths of the leader. Shuffled back then to the inside, Better Chill Out as they go past the half in 57 seconds. 29-2 that second quarter. Moving into the far turn, it's Family roll call ahead by a length. Kimberly to the outside, stalled. Parkin' in Heaven then sits tight from third, while Sass's Sisters on the helmet fourth, looming to tip 3 high to the outside of Sheer Talent. Then third up is Better Chill Out, locking in Amethyst Sealster, now angling off the rail as they move 3 high past 3 quarters in 125-2, 28-2, bearing in on Family roll call. 3 high came Sass's Sister, and Sass's Sisters trying to brush past Kimberly in between. To the inside comes Parkin' in Heaven, and deeper on the track, Better Chill Out with Traffic Jam widest of all. They're all in contention, and Parkin' in Heaven cut the corner, moves up the inside, pushes through the seam to win by a length and a quarter. Better Chill Out in a photo for second between Modesty and Traffic Jam up late 2 and 152-4.
Who was that second?
Mike, I think you and I both agree that it might be for the best that I just walk out of this show at this point. Parkin' in Heaven.
How about, look where the 6 was and get second. This horse was 10 jumps left in the race. I mean, it's unreal.
They were flying home. 7.
Back massively. I mean, you have no chance if you're anywhere close.
Which is a shame because, you know, the last, 4 months.
Who's betting the 3 to even money? Honestly.
It's Ox Fenstead. Not only that, if that horse doesn't go first over, she probably races better.
The one. You're like, oh, good luck with that one.
Okay, this is actually working very well for me because since you're still cutting out, I'm only hearing half the things you say, so my feelings are only half heard.
Okay.
It's working out very well for me.
You're the one that was taking shots at me. I'm trying to give you long shots, and you're like saying that they got nothing.
Well, that just makes.
I'm not picking on you. It's the other way around.
No. You seem to be misunderstanding that the world is against me.
No.
Oh, well, when you put it like that, then you're correct. Parkin'
Can-Am's
in
coming
Heaven.
up. Can-Am, get your Can-Am tickets in. The 10th at 1 is coming up. That's the first leg. It's the post, but it's like 8 or 9 to get it in.
Which I still don't understand why this bet that they advertised as killing drag still drags to start.
Well, but they drag initially, but then after that, it goes pretty fast.
It does.
You know how I feel about this. I don't pool drag thing doesn't bother me all that much. I'd rather have a bigger pool. Drag a couple minutes. It's okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a bigger
Doesn't
pool
bother me.
unless you can't swim. Then it's a problem.
There's some people that can't stand it and like will quit betting because of it, but I'm not that one of those people.
Well, yeah, because then what else are you gonna do with that money?
Well, you know what I mean.
I get what you're
You
saying.
want to try to maximize the pool. Now, do you want to be like upstream and drag for like a half-hour race? No, obviously not. But an extra 5 minutes isn't going to hurt anybody. I mean, what else do you have to do? You're sitting here in front of a television.
Well, that's the problem. Is my time is so precious.
And the next race.
I could just go on to Amazon Prime and then watch guys drive cars in circles for hours. I don't have to wait for that.
I don't. Anyway.
You think I'm not making a point, but the problem...
Rant over. I want to see what this exact amount of land so I can puke.
Ah, yes. The great feeling of prompting oneself.
It's light. 255's light.
Ooh, light vomit.
Yeah. I would expect it double that. Oh, well.
Now we're getting...
You got 24 and 14 place and show. I know you love place and show.
Uh-oh. Russ said...
They're going at London. We messing with that or not anymore?
We're getting to it. It's just, you see, Mike, now that I'm doing the job of 16 people, I can only keep track of so much, including the fact that Russ Adams is going to be coming on with a musical entrance.
Oh, good.
I didn't know he could play the saxophone. The 10th race at London, meanwhile, is off, and what I hate is that the gate's already dispersed, so I gotta guess who's who now going around the first turn. I believe Desert Valley is now in the pocket. Yes, She's a Chunky Monkey cleared the lead. She's a Chunky Monkey strides out to lead Desert Valley by 2 lengths to the opening quarter. Windsong Ophelia, we're going to trust, is in third, about 4 lengths from the top. Then back to Majestic Sweetson, racing from fourth. Off the rail then comes what looks like Southwind Spartan. Locked in AJ Ricochet. Then towards the back, on cover Avatar Sealster and cuts and the 4-horse and Vimy Ridge Virtus, which in Latin translates to something Ridge Virtus. They come into the stretch first time. She's a Chunky Monkey, even money favorite, leads Desert Valley by 2. Up on the outside, Southwind Spartan up to be third and ranging closer towards the leader, moving to circuit 2. Windsong Ophelia shuffled back as Majestic Sweetson's on cover, moving to the back stretch once more. Shuffled then AJ Ricochet, third up comes Avatar Sealster, then in the back the 4-horse and Vimy Ridge Virtus, but She's a Chunky Monkey's unchallenged in the backside. Leads here by 2. Southwind Spartan holding second from Desert Valley to the inside. Windsong Ophelia is locked in as on cover AJ Ricochet is coming up into contention. You're wrong. It's Majestic Sweetson around the final turn. It doesn't matter though. She's a Chunky Monkey. Has a 3-length jump on him. Desert Valley parking out Southwind Spartan as they turn for home, and they're all battling for second except Desert Valley. He's off stride. She's a Chunky Monkey though into the final 16th in hand and under wraps. She's a Chunky Monkey wired him by about 3 lengths. Majestic Sweets in second. And there's Desert Valley crossing back onto the track. The miles in the 16th goes in 2:10 something. Doesn't show it on the screen. 2:10 flat. Wow, that was a good guess. She's a Chunky Monkey. The even money favorite wraps up the Pick4 at London, which the will pay for that we have is $30.54 if you got the 4 legs. Speaking of four legs, Russ Adams is here.
All right.
Uh-oh. Oh, he doesn't want to make his debut yet. He's
What's up, guys? Sorry,
yes.
I had to get a little intro music in there.
Yes, the classic bare-armed jingle.
That was the AC/DC.
I don't know, like, where you got the
version
program for Monday, because I don't have one.
Well, Ray, you should have the program in your email.
Ooh, it's in my email. I feel like a part of the club.
Well, the magical world of the Hanover Hustler made things happen, so...
Ooh, it makes it sound like you work in porn.
I don't know about all about that, but...
I hear the pay is good.
Russ, are you in on this Can-Am or no?
No.
What?
I haven't watched it.
I thought you were going to play it, like, after the third week.
I remember I played that a couple weeks ago and hit 54. I think
And so
it was
what,
like
you give
$48.
up?
I think it was like $48 or something like that.
Yeah. Tonight's going to pay better.
Yeah.
Tonight's going to pay 50.
Yeah, it was like 50 some bucks or something like that. I can't remember, but I just
was
haven't
the
felt
one-
like playing very much lately. I don't know, just chilling. You know,
Good. Watching
trying to
baseball.
figure out, trying to figure out Rosecroft and trying to figure out how the Nats lose to Miami.
Well,
Miami's pretty bad.
you're just going to be sitting there all day trying to figure that out.
I mean, every time I seem like I come on the show, the Nats lose to somebody bad on Fridays.
We'll have to remember that. I'm going to start firing against the Nats on Friday.
Yeah, then you get to see this beautiful face afterwards.
Yeah.
Imagine how much more beautiful it would look if the Nats won.
Yeah. Well, we got beat by the Miami Vice jersey, so that's not a great sign.
I can only keep track of so much baseball. How's the Utah Jazz doing? Are they doing any well?
I don't know that basketball. I have no idea.
The Cat's saying hi.
Well,
I couldn't even tell you about the Wizards, and I'm like 10 minutes away from there.
Well, like I say, I don't follow much baseball. Have the 76ers done anything?
No clue.
Oh, our commercial's on Meadowlands right now.
I would play it, but I believe we would get shut down by a ballistic missile sent straight from the video distribution company
Clock's up at
to my house.
getting ready.
So anyway, how are your guys' nights going? Anyways,
I'm losing.
Mike's losing money. I'm losing my mind. So I think it's a nice little matrimony that's going on
Even though,
on the show.
like, I'm picking winners at Woodbine, but
Right.
somehow I effed up the pick 5 because I'm dumb. Okay.
right?
Don't ask me how I did that. And then I lost in the pick 4 to a horse that looked like you'll have to go and look at the PPs and look at the 6 horse in race 6 and tell me how you find that one.
Wait, Russ.
Let me
Yeah.
take a look.
Russ,
Let me take a
you
look.
should ask him how he messed it up.
Oh, I can't wait to look at this horse.
Yeah, wait till you see
All right.
that one. And you know what the funny thing is before we went on air, I say to Ray, I'm like, yeah, the 6 is taking money and this horse has no business taking a nickel, and he freaking wins easy.
He's not like he's not a Rosecroft horse or something like that, is it?
No.
Oh, shoot. I just realized I didn't fix my Can-Am Pick 4 graphic. Dang it.
Well, there's not much time anyway, so
Yeah.
maybe that's
Horse just went back to the paddock, so you still have time.
Replace at Ray Gonzalez.
The 9's probably lame.
Yeah. Well, I was lame after Wednesday night's races. Oh, my leg was killing me. I thought they were gonna have to shoot me in the back, but they said you can live one more day.
Oh, that's so nice of your owners. I wish I had owners as benevolent at that one, but they just tightened my leash.
If you ever watch Family Guy, you guys know what I'm talking about. So
I wouldn't know. I watch television.
yeah, it's a TV show, but okay. All right, you said the 6th race is 6 horse. Let me take a look here.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? I used the 9? Since when? What was I handicapping? Holy crap.
Okay, this is a trot race. It was nowhere's a 3. Let's see. Yeah, you can't pick that one. That's a Riodo special. Nope, you can't pick that. Nope. I don't even know who Kenneth Backer is. No offense to Kenneth Backer, but I don't know who that is.
Me
But
neither.
congrats to them.
But the horse took money and then won easy. And that's
Yeah.
typically how it happens at this place. And the horse took sneaky money like that, and just, I knew it right away. I was like, oh no.
And that's why I have not played it very much lately. So for what you said, the crazy.
Live in the late. I don't
That's
know.
good.
I need to get a price here.
At least you're alive in something.
I'm barely alive right now, apparently.
Yeah, I see.
I'm checking my pulse. I can't find it. If anyone at home would like to find my pulse, please call the number on your screen right now. I believe it's 3. There's 3 numbers involved. One of them is a 1.
No.
And I think there's like a 6. From what I remember. Might not be the right way, though. There was a equipment adjustment in this race. The 9, Jan, who now is a driver change to Phil Hudon.
I'm wondering, Russ, did you have Powder Titan when he won and paid $20 on April 14?
Wait, say that one more time?
Said, did you have everyone and paid $22?
Well, the problem is you keep cutting out because Ray was saying your thing was cutting out. Like I couldn't hear you.
Oh.
Sorry.
Said, did you have Tidewater Titan when we paid $22?
Oh, heck no, heck no, heck no. Heck, even Brian Burton didn't use that horse. I don't think. No.
Oh my God.
Well, it was a good win
for
him. It was a good win for him. I will say that.
Y'all have
The race.
no faith in me.
Yeah, the race broke down. I mean, remember that was a different race though, and that was not the greatest field of horses I've ever seen in my life. So,
Well,
yeah.
Regardless, he should have never paid $22.
Yeah. Hey, you were 1 week too late to the party. Maybe 1 week too early. That's what I should have said.
Hey, what's wrong with being early to the party? You just get to help set up.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot.
They're going at Mohawk.
Well, not just yet. They're lollygagging to the gate. As Jan took forever to get her equipment fixed, she's heading back. $60,000 in the pool with 40 seconds to post.
I'm looking at this race at Woodbine. I got my express bet up here.
Uh-huh.
I'm just looking off the horses off the board here and based off the drivers and trainers that I know. I don't know. I've seen Kloof Street race before. I wouldn't be surprised if that horse won. Based on the horses.
Added to my ticket used because I agree with you. The horse can win the race.
PL Hurricane used to race in the Open up there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Gallucci. He doesn't come there to lose.
But my ticket is live to the 1, 2, 5, and 6. Mike,
Yeah.
I believe you said you threw on the 7.
I did throw on the 7 on my personal ticket. If
Probably
you were to take one off, I would take the 1 off and put the 7 on. If I realize my ticket, but I
Well, now the
do think the
wings,
7 has an interesting chance.
the wings of the
Further
gate
inspect.
have opened, and the starter calls.
He's either going to be Kloof Street or he's going to be known as Dead End after this race is over.
Field of 9. Turning into the stretch. They're in motion, in line, approaching the start, and now they're away as Kloof Street kicks off from the outside towards the top. PL Hurricane also pushes for position. Far outside, Jan floats away while Mock and Hope gets away in third, the outside. This Dragon Rocks pushes out 3 wide for the top spot. Kloof Street now clears. This Dragon Rocks brushing on past the opening quarter. Mockin' Hope off the rail tracks that one from third as PL Hurricane stalks the dueling leaders from fourth. Away fifth comes Jan ahead of Winsong Magnifique sixth. Then back seventh, Just Her Luck ahead of Ain't 3 OK. And Cousin Mary last of all as they go past the first quarter in 28-2. Midway down the backstretch, Mock in Hope has the lead now over this Dragon Rocks by a length and a quarter. Kloof Street sits third as PL Hurricane remains fourth, about 2 lengths better than Jan. Winsong Magnifique now moves off the rail, catching that cover. Just Her Luck from seventh. They're then back to Cousin Mary right behind Ain't 3 OK as they go past the half in 58 seconds. 29-3 that second quarter. Here comes Kloof Street now out of third to challenge Mock and Hope around the final turn. This Dragon Rocks locked in as Winsong Magnifique's carried into contention second over. PL Hurricane is locked at the rail from fifth, shuffled back to the outside of that one. Just Her Luck ranging up 3 high for Drury as they go past 3 quarters. Mock and Hope off stride at the top of the stretch. So room for this Dragon Rocks to peek through the seam. He now challenges Kloof Street deeper on the track. Just Her Luck is storming up through the reins to take the lead into the final eighth of a mile. Here's Just Her Luck now blowing away this Dragon Rocks and Kloof Street, who's now taken second. Just Her Luck strides away at even money to win by 2.5. Kloof Street second. This Dragon Rocks third. 155-4. So right there, Just Her Luck got a perfect trip, carried into contention, blows past Kloof Street to win at even money. We all move on in our Can-Am Pick4's.
Awesome, the rest of all human existence.
The 7 race good.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7 race good. Probably win next time.
Yeah, it'll be like 9-5.
5, 7, 3, and then the 8, or the 6 rather. 6 got 4th.
How about the 1? I knew.
Yeah, the 1 was
After
nowhere.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
As, the Meadowlands is coming up in 0 minutes. This is where the Can-Am really gets hasty. We might also want to start Hey, Russ, you look at any of Yonkers for tomorrow night?
No, but I can make it happen in a GIF.
In a GIF?
In a
He's
GIF.
making it happen.
Oh, I thought you were talking about one of those moving pictures. Because some people
You
like
ever
to...
hear that there's 3 types of people, okay? Those that make it happen, those that watch it and degrade that don't know what the hell happened.
Oh, I got the Yonkers program, so let me get it up.
There's another type of person, Mike, who you forgot, and it's those who teach gym. You can't forget those guys either, or
Exactly.
gals.
Waiting for this computer.
It's a very diverse field of education. Meanwhile, we'll rip.
Are we going to Yonkers? What are we
Yeah,
doing,
well,
right?
we're gonna go to Yonkers because we gotta rip through these. Starting with.
Are we doing all these like freaking Levy eligible ones? What are we doing?
Well, let me ask you this: do you think the 4th race, the Levy eligibles race, has any value to it whatsoever?
I think that could be race nocturnal blue chip fine thing.
Even off the 6th scratch.
Yeah, I mean I don't like that much, but I do like that horse, and finally draws well. Finally gets a game type. The control tower's money. This horse is leaving tomorrow, and I think you'll go on.
Russ, does your quick eye agree with that?
No, I'm about to get this loaded right now. What race is that in?
That's race
4.
number 4. You're
That's
just
the
getting
4.
you're logging on to America Online.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not just kidding.
Oh.
All right, I got it up.
I almost felt weird there. Like
I'm still stuck. I'm still not stuck in 1997. No, I'm just kidding.
I wish I was.
I'm guessing this is a consolation race here.
Yep.
So let's see here.
Because
Control Tower, you get Andy Miller. That's a big change. I see Austin Siegelman's going to the Meadowlands tomorrow night, so I'm surprised he's not. He's not driving. Always at my place is interesting from the 7 hole.
That horse has been very down.
Yeah,
For
but there's
Post tonight for these
There's not-
tickets at the Meadowlands.
there's not that much in there though. There really isn't.
me though,
Yeah.
I am first thing. I'm trying. I gotta make sure I get us back. There we go. We're back. I think Rock the Knight could be a decent price from the inside. Even though he's been coming from off the pace in most of his races, he's been in contention to Western Fame, Gokudo Hanover, Rodeo Rock, some of the better ones, kicking home and gaining ground in those races. And now he has the best post on the gate. If he's not the favorite, he's like what 4-1, 5-1. That could be a decent price, in my book.
Oh, you'll get that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get that. You'll probably get higher than that actually.
I hope so. I hope they bet Control Tower down.
They'll bet the 2 and the 3, and then they'll let the 7 and the 1 and 4 drift up.
Mhm.
That's probably what's going to happen. Yeah, but
Then-
we know always at my place is a half mile specialist, and he can get out from the 7 hole. There's not that much in here. There really isn't.
My thing is just I don't think he could sustain anymore.
Yeah.
He used to just get the lead and then kick home in like 28 and win, but I don't think I could win him a race here.
Well, it'll be an interesting race, but anyway, how many more of these races?
Russ already's had enough. He saw that one and went, "Oh God, there's more." Because there's always more with the Levies. You can't live and let Levy. It's just impossible. The 6th race is the next consolation. This one has Dr. J. Hanover from the center of the gate, who seems to be improving and now goes into a lighter bunch. But Bellows Binge dropped out of the series to get some wins against condition types here at Yonkers. He has the rail. And then Better Memories, the one time I'm not on this horse, he ends up blowing past them all to win at 5-1. Go figure. And now he starts from post 3 as the morning line favorite. Mike, do you see any kind of value in this one?
I mean, I think the four's worth something.
Mm-hmm.
If a better drive, I mean that would be ideal. Really probably should have won 3 back, then had a terrible trip 2 back. Last time decided to go to the front and got run over. I prefer the throw in the back a little bit. For bet in the race. If you could handle a large from the 7 hole, you could do worse than the 7. I would probably be 4-7.
Okay. I'm some graduate who's usually been racing better off a helmet than he has been on the lead, like he was as the favorite last time. And then Major Crocker, that horse who's always flying for Rene Allard. 8-1 from that outside post. That seems like it could be value. But Russ,
Yes.
if you would be such a doll, and not like a rolled doll, be slightly less racist, and
Yeah.
tell us, it'll be hard for you, I'm sure. Where would the hustler be hustling for this race?
Well, Dexter Dunn never leaves the Meadowlands for no reason, so he's coming over here to drive Better Memories, and I'm sure he's driving something else.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's funny about Dexter Dunn, after he's done, he's going to drive the last 4 races at Meadowlands on Saturday night, so he's going to be traveling a few miles on the road, so this will be fun. So obviously Better Memories ain't losing. I think the one's going to take a little money because Banca and Bartlett are just unreal combination up there. They win a ton of races. Like you said, the 7 will probably take some money. The horse is a stone cold closer, and the horse was taking money the last couple starts, so I'm sure that horse will take some cash. Dr. J. Hanover is overrated in my view. I'm not impressed with him at all. No offense to the connections there. I'm hoping they don't get their feelings hurt. But I would probably go with 3-1-7.
You see, you guys are missing. I got 2 words for you, and then we're going to call this race to the Meadowlands. Ballarat Boomerang. Horse was second to Ideal Jimmy last week. Was not beating Ideal Jimmy, but raced well enough to be the best of the rest. and just has that outside post, he's going to get ignored on the board.
Oh, you're right about that.
They're going.
I have it up right here. It's post time. I have a single in the 3. Roll with Papa Joe.
Yeah.
He's the favorite at 6-5.
Give me the one.
Second
horse
choice
in that
at 5-2. The
I
9
agree. Give me the one.
World on Edge. This field is in line, in behind, in motion for the 10th, and now it's underway. World on Edge to the outside is launching for a top spot. Stablemate Sugar Town also pushes for position. Backlight from between them moves up to be second around the first turn as Prince of Tides gets away in third. Roll with Papa Joe's fourth to the opening quarter. World on Edge floats into fifth as Were We Unique yields back in sixth ahead of Mark with the K seventh. They're then back to Costello towards the back of the field, and Blacklight joins him, or rather, Bring the Thunder, the penultimate. 27-3 the opening quarter. Prince of Tides circles to the lead of the backstretch, now ahead of Sugartown by a length and a quarter. Blacklight sits in third, about 3.5 lengths from the lead. Roll with Papa Joe, the odds-on favorite, remains fourth, yet to make his move. Behind that one then comes World on Edge looking to flush some cover. And behind them comes Were We Unique, now third over is Roll with Papa Joe's shown the whip, and he tips outside for Dave Miller. Prince of Tides, though, past the half in 56-3, a 29-second quarter through the winds and into the far turn. Prince of Tides rolls. On the outside comes Blacklight now to supply cover to Roll with Papa Joe, who's now second up and within 2.5 lengths of the lead. Sugartown's shuffled back, as is World on Edge, who's locked to the inside of Were We Unique, ready to tip 3 high from the back. Bring the Thunder is already rolling, 124-4. The 3/4 time. Prince of Tides holds them off into the final eighth of a mile. Roll with Papa Joe's kicked off cover, trying to rally, and then to the inside comes Sugartown and World on Edge, but Prince of Tides has him put away. Prince of Tides brushes home a winner in 151. Tight for second there between Roll with Papa Joe, Sugartown, and a World on Edge.
8-1 winner for the Hustler.
Wow, you had that one?
Excellent.
I didn't play him, but I was looking on the board. I was looking at the trainers and drivers, and a young 3-year-old has some beach somewhere gelding. You know, Howard Taylor doesn't mess around.
That's true. I would go more into that, but I'm afraid of legal.
Also, some, like with the recent suspension this week, I don't really trust some of the horses like the 3 currently.
Oh, you're talking about Jenny from the block?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What's up, Jen? How are you guys doing?
Prince of Tides
They're
knocks
watching.
me out of the Can-Am pick.
Hey, Ross Krogan's no fool. The guy can trade a little bit.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah,
can.
kidding.
I thought I could not read that line for the life of me. That last line. The horse was just in the right place at the right time in my book.
Yep.
Made the
Yeah,
right
but
move.
The thing is that was off the bench too, and there was nothing wrong with that race. And this was a better spot. I just didn't trust the 3 in the race either.
Nope. When you don't
6.
trust the 3, then you can try something else.
Blue Chip Matchmaker Consolation. We've got to blow through these. 8 horses lining up for the consolation of the Matchmaker. Race number 8 tomorrow night at Yonkers Raceway. $75,000 purse. Favorite here, Newborn Sassy. Oh, excusez-moi. This horse has 2 seconds in the series and is otherwise not even hit the board. But now gets a good draw alongside her Delightful Memphis, who had been racing well at the Meadowlands earlier this year and has found her footing over at Yonkers Raceway since shipping. But the main question that I asked in the other ones, Mike, is there value in this race?
I see a little value with the 2 getting Brian Sears back in the bike. Draws well, closer, but draws the rail and had a rough trip last time. I think can get a trip in the race. Made a ton of money last year. Be capable against this bunch, especially on a dry track. So, or even in the wet. I mean, I think that this horse has a big chance.
Russ.
There's the Newborn Sassy's not losing this race. I mean, I know the horse hasn't looked the best on paper here, but
are you kidding me?
I'm looking at the rest of this. I'm just like, Delightful Memphis hasn't really shown me much. Just sits on the rail, and then also Obvious Blue. I see Obvious Blue Chip here. I'm just like, Twinkle, nah, no thanks. I'm probably gonna go with 4-5-2. That's probably what I'm gonna go with. I'm not sold on the 1-1As. Nope.
I tend to lean towards Mike with Medusa.
Yeah.
Just
if you guys like WCW, that's for you, but that's not for me.
I sure love my Woman Crush Wednesdays.
Yep.
Did I get it right? WCWs?
No.
Oh, Wrestling Corner Wallop.
World Championship Wrestling.
She made the Hall of Fame a couple years ago.
Worcestershire Cleansing Wolves.
Yeah, he's pulling that out.
WCW. Personally, I would probably not bet this race. I have very little opinion. Medusa seems like a horse who's going to be a decent price, has a good draw, should be involved. Take that as you will. Use the horse in exotics. Use the horse to win. Personally, I have very little say in that race. The matchmaker final, though, could be a bit more interesting. 8 horses here. Sharton has an outside post. She's starting from post 6. She lost 1 week in this series back on March 22nd. And now she's here to defend her championship. To the inside, Apple Bottom Jeans has won almost every prelim except 2. She skipped 1 through 2 weeks ago, and then she finished second 2 weeks ago. Feeling Red Hot is in a unique position because not only has she beaten Apple Bottom Jeans, she's also beaten Sharton, and she has post 3. So we all agree that Sharton is the horse to beat. But does she lose?
What's wrong with the 5?
What's wrong? You tell me.
Well, I think that sort of gets a huge setup. I mean, Dexter Dunn's here for a reason, and I think it could be this reason. Gets a better post. 6 gets a set because you know that a lot of these are going to go the 2, the 3, the 4. And I could even see the 1 leaving from the rail. Of course, could end up maybe second up behind the 6 and capable of winning the race. And you're going to get, because Sharton's going to be 1-5, 7, 8-1 on this horse at least.
Mm-hmm.
Might get higher than that.
Oh, what, are you in the same camp?
You know what? I think the 5 wins this race. I do. I don't because I was at this Levy Series final last year. I actually made that trip up there, and that was one of the most miserable drives I've ever got stuck in traffic for like 2.5 hours just to drive 10 miles. But I'll never do that again. I'll take another route. But anyway,
you can even find the racetrack.
Yeah, it's a fun. I like it. It's got an atmosphere for sure. But anyway, Better Joy Inn, yes, Dexter Dunn is coming from the Meadowlands to drive this horse. And yes, I do see Tim Tetrick owns this horse, so that's very interesting. There's no two Tim Tetricks that can drive both of them, so somebody had to drive it. So Dexter Dunn is more than capable of getting the job done. Horse has a little bit of speed as well, but most likely he's going to have to get a second or third over trip with no passing lane there anymore. So I'm gonna go with that horse on top. Sharton will probably finish second, so the Kings will be very happy after this race is over, most likely. And then the third place horse, I'm throwing the 3 completely out. I'm going to use Apple Bottom Jeans. Flow Riders should be happy about that. But anyway, this horse has done nothing wrong. What has this horse done wrong? Just wins nearly every week. I mean, this horse seems like it's won 3 legs of this series and lost by a neck. Why can't this horse show up? I mean, Corey just won a 6,000 race. Congrats to you, sir. And you are a good guy. So
Was it the
I'm going to go 5,000
and 6,000 because I think that somebody missed 1,000 somewhere.
Yeah, who runs that page over there at the? At the I have a feeling I know who it is, but I'm not going to mention their name because they're not worth mentioning.
Oh,
yeah.
I've followed everything that's happened. I've heard every word said and understood all of it and totally just did not sit here in a daze because it's night. But it's interesting how we all see that Better Joy is the most probable horse to win if there's a lot of speed in this race. Because this could also turn into one of those situations where everyone sees, oh, everyone's gonna leave, so I'm gonna sit back, and then they all sit back, and Apple Bottom Cheese just wires them. I've seen that happen before. It happened in the Adios last year when Doors to Duro Hanover was in. Everyone was like, oh, there's gonna be so much speed. They got to the half in like 56.
Yeah, but that was a definitive bias that day.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, you're gonna have a front bias if you're crawling to the half, but
So that's how the racetrack played the entire day.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I see it playing out similarly, especially on the half mile. They've got to be aggressive for position. And if that's the case, the only horse who shows lines coming from off the pace, good lines coming from off the pace, is the 5. Certainly.
Correct. You were correct. It looks like Woodbine's about to go.
Yes.
Woodbine.
I got Woodbine up. The only other thing worth noting is that, well, we'll talk about it after this race.
I want to go with the 4, by the way.
All right, this field is in line and now away. Twin B Tipster from the outside is pushing out. Lip Lock towards the rail has now gotten the lead, with Jessica's Legacy also leaving. Manhattan Knight to the inside now sits third as Twin B Tipster tucks into fourth. Frisky Beavers parked out from fifth by Macarita to the turn. They're then back to Buckingham in sixth, or rather seventh, as Church Bells races from eighth. Tequila Parties towards the back with Flash a Smile trailing. Opening quarter up in 27-4. Here comes Cullen to clear with Jessica's Legacy. Lip Lock yields to that one to the backside. Manhattan Knight sits third then, while Twin B Tipster tracks from fourth. Frisky Beavers then fifth ahead of Macarita, still sixth. Seventh now locked in. Buckingham as Church Bells ventures overland from eighth. On that one's covered Tequila Party and Flash a Smile trails. Jessica's Legacy pacing to the half, uncontested, leads by 2 over Lip Lock. Manhattan Knight sits tightly from third through a 58-2 clocking, 30-3 for that second quarter. Into the far turn, Jessica's Legacy posting soft fractions as now the second choice is given her cue. Manhattan Knight out from third to try and reel in this favorite, coming to 3/4. Lip Lock dropping back to the inside of Frisky Beaver on cover. Then it's Twin B Tipster shuffled back and caught behind the fading Lip Lock as Church Bells moves up third over, now racing fourth as they go past 3/4. Jessica's Legacy passes that station, 128-2, turns into the Monsoon, 2 lengths better than Manhattan Knight. Off the rail, off cover, Frisky Beaver deeper on the track than Church Bells for a cross, but still a 2-length advantage for Jessica's Legacy into the 8th pole. Manhattan Knight just chasing from second as Church Bells takes third from Twin B Tipster to the far outside. Line looming, Jessica's Legacy in front, in hand, and winning by a length and a half. Second, Manhattan Knight tight for third. Twin B Tipster may have gotten past Church Bells in 158-1.
You can bet all you want on the 7 next time.
Another
That's
winner.
a typical Jody drive, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Another win for the Hustler. How about that?
8-5 favorite. Another win for many people. But good quick call. You didn't even open a program. You see?
Well, all he had to do was go to NAHUpicks.com because that was my top pick.
I don't even think he did that. I think he just read the board.
You can never pick Michael Saptic at 9-5. You are on something if you pick him at 9-5. Period.
I had 7 out of 11 top pick winners at Woodbine tonight. Not too shabby.
I'm hoping at least by the end of the night, I will find myself wherever I am.
I wish the 7 would have got out here because, it would have made it very interesting there. That would have been a nice little upsetter everywhere.
You know what this race would remind me of? It reminded me of like the 4th race at Flamborough last week.
care to elaborate for those who did not watch the 4th race from Flamborough?
Yeah.
I'm just saying because Travis Cullen does this all the time. He just goes to the front, gets cheap fractions like this race here, and just steals it. It felt like watching a race at Flamborough.
It's the Albertan special.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Speaking of knowing what you're doing, Levy consolation, 10th race.
Some more Levies, I love it.
I know, there's just so many of them, and we're already past our allotted time slot.
Well, I still have some Rosecroft to discuss as well.
I know, we're not going to sleep by the looks of it.
Rosecroft.
Not good. Yeah. You all right there, Ray?
I either misheard something that was funnier than it was supposed to be, but I prefer the way I heard it. The 10th race is the Levy consolation, the definitive consolation with 8 horses going postward. Endeavor.
I'm bunting at the nails for this one. So.
Oh, okay. Then I'm not even gonna preview it. Russ, just please rip those pantaloons off and then tell us what you're packing.
Oh my God, you're gonna let me go first. Oh boy, I don't know.
Well, you were asking for it. You're chomping at the bit. You were licking at the locks.
I will say this. This is actually probably the best betting race of the sequence of the consolations or finals.
Okay.
And Lion Steel, like you said a couple weeks ago, won by 4.5. On March 30th, and won it pretty easily. I mean, yes, he was being 8-5 favorite, but that doesn't really matter. Like you said, if the other horse that the Bettor's Joy, the one that Dexter's going to drive before that, if that happens, then I'm gonna say Lion Steel's going to go ahead and do the same thing. Endeavor is not a half mile horse. The horse is really a one mile track horse. We all know that. And I'm not going to try to use a favorite in this spot. I'm going to try and get Lion Steel with Joe Bongiorno in the bike for Dennis Watson on top. And I'm going to use Endeavor probably third in here. And the horse I'll probably use second is Pacing Major N. Why? George Stratton gets the rail. Peter Trenton and them have a great relationship. They've had a lot of nice wins together, like Bit of a Legend N. So why can't this one get a piece of the pie? I know it doesn't have a lot of speed. Doesn't really matter. We'll see what happens. I'm just going to go with the good old 3-1-2. I'm sorry. No offense to Ron Cushing. But 3-1-2 for the hustle.
What's wrong with Ron Cushing's horse?
Nothing wrong with Ron Cushing. His son's actually doing a nice job at Plain Ridge right now.
I mean, his horse has speed. He can get the lead. Yeah. If no one challenges him,
I bet that to the wall.
Then 3 weeks later, he just steals the entire race in 53-2.
Maybe do this.
Yeah, because there's no way Lion Steel doesn't go to the front, right?
Okay, what's wrong with Max Jackpot in the race? Help me, please.
I agree with Max Jackpot too. The horse race.
What's wrong with somewhere in LA in the race?
Okay, Mike. There's only so many horses you can bet. That's the problem.
No, I like those two horses. I think those are the I don't like Endeavor at all. I don't really like Lion Steel much.
Yeah, well, I just don't see how the 6. You say the 6 is gonna leave?
I don't know if he's gonna leave. I think it could get set up for him though, especially depending on if the 2, 3, the 1 could go from where he's at. I don't know. I just always have liked him. I mean, he never owes me $1. And that was a good race 2 back, and then he kind of missed a week, and then last week really had no chance against Western Fame. He could get ignored.
Right. Hey, I just wanted to let you guys know there's an inquiry at Woodbine right now.
I'm trying to think how that could be.
On who? Not the winner, I wouldn't think.
On Jody, by the way.
Oh, yeah, because he forced his way off the rail.
Oh.
Yeah. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, I did notice that as it was going on, but typically they don't even do anything.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me.
They just put the light on to see if it still works.
Well, they will. They'll look at it and be like, no change.
No.
But I agree with the approach you're taking with this one, Mike, in that if you're betting this race, you're going to want to bet for it to collapse because since it's a consolation, there should be a bit more aggressive racing, and that can drag closers into the mix, like Max Jackpot, who did come home decently last out, was gaining ground into that 27-second final quarter. He's one of the few horses you see kick home in sub 27 on the half when he finished 6th. But he's such an opportunistic horse that he's dependent on them going like 54, 53 to the half the same way the Wall was back when he won. But it's possible. It's certainly possible. So much of these levies are going to be, for me, about reading the board. And that's also kind of why I'm a bit all over the place, because it's hard to figure out who's going to go off what. Also off of these just very mediocre morning lines.
Yeah.
But there's one more. The final. $600,000. 8 horses. Western Famous post 5. Does he lose? Mike.
Probably not.
Oh, really?
I'd like Ideal Jimmy if he was drawn better, but that's just a freaking albatross from out there.
An albatross doesn't have to die.
The 3 is interesting also.
The 3. JJ Flynn is... Well, I think one of the questions is how much speed is in the race.
If they let Western Fame go, it's over. And he's faster than these horses. So...
Yeah, well, he won our big race at Rosecroft in December. I'm well aware of that.
I feel, but
that's what everyone's thinking about currently.
JJ Flynn,
no, not at all. Not just a little bit.
JJ Flynn beats him to the turn though, and I doubt he doesn't get. I doubt he goes unchallenged in this race.
What's he do with the 4? That's the major question in the race.
That's true. I don't know if Sears is going to give him the 1-2 punch. That might be too soon. But he always, to me, has, when I see him, I just think the horse is going to be patiently driven.
Okay, but two starts ago, he went 53-3.
Yes. He has the speed. He can be the horse to mess things up.
Yes.
But he also got to the half at 57-4 last week.
And that's why he won.
Yeah, he was able to rate.
The question is what do they do? What do they do with him? They could go down the road with him and kill the 5 and kill everybody. And then it probably does fall in the 8th lap. Maybe the 7. I mean, that horse has raced pretty damn well, too.
Well, even Ideal Jimmy can get off the gate and sit at least like mid-pack. He's capable of that, too.
This is a different kettle of fish.
He's been one of the top horses in the series, and in all honesty, if he's like 20-25 to 1,
I don't think he will be.
Really,
they're going for 600. Do you think they're going to let the 8-hole win the race?
Oh, by the way, guys, Meadowland's about to go. By the way.
Oh, okay. Yes, they.
And I'm gonna go with the Dark Pool, the 4. Vinny actually owns this horse too.
I need the 1. Give me the 1.
Landon Fitz. Yeah, anything's possible in this race.
Mike's alive to the 1, 2, and 6. Field for the finale of the Can-Am Pick4 is away and trotting. Roundtown Rocker rolls out for the lead to the inside. Landon Fitz also pushing out. Far outside comes... Ooh, no, that's actually Torquil around the first turn. Parked out widest as Roundtown Rocker clears Landon Fitz. Here comes Explosive Ridge out of 3rd, moving up towards the leader as Don Dream gets away 4th ahead of Cascara Rose. Locked in now as Torquil advances outside. 27-3 opening quarter as Explosive Ridge clears Roundtown Rocker to the backstretch. Landon Fitz sits in 3rd. Torquil up to be 4th now within 3 lengths of the lead. Shuffled back then, moving outside comes Dawn Dream into the cover flow. Cascara Rose sticks towards the pylons. Tech Titan is 3rd over then ahead of Dark Pool in tandem towards the back with Swan Credit and Ulan Noir Last of all, as they go past the half, 57 seconds, 29-2 for that second quarter. Torquil now puts a neck in front of Explosive Ridge to the far turn, while Roundtown Rocker stalks from third. Don Dream is left uncovered now as Torquil clears Explosive Ridge towards three quarters, and Don Dream is dashing up towards the top within a length and a half now of control, while Roundtown Rocker tips off the rail from fourth, partly locking in Explosive Ridge to three quarters. Tech Titan is third up in that flow with Landon Fitz to the inside from the back. Then Ulan Noir kicks three high off three quarters and 126. Don Dream has taken the lead from Torquil into the eighth ball. Roundtown Rocker up to be second with Explosive Ridge as Torquil tries to battle back with then Ulan Noir to the far outside and Swan Credit in between. Don Dream though wrapped up towards the line. Don Dream wins by 2 lengths. Roundtown Rocker second from Swan Credit and Ulan Noir in 154-1.
Well, I hit it. I don't know what it's going to pay, and probably not a lot, but
2 to 1.
probably not what I'll make a couple bucks.
2 on second choice.
You got the Buckeye.
Horse never really looked like a loser, to be honest. But
No.
Do they let the 8-horse win a $600,000 race? I don't think they let anyone try to win a race. The race could set up for Ideal Jimmy. That's my
they
case.
took Jody down.
Did they really?
Yeah.
No, that doesn't surprise me.
I stand by Ideal Jimmy.
No.
I mean, right, a lot's going to have to go right for him to win that race. He's been good, but this is again, he's really faced kind of like he's never been in, with, Western Fame at all, the entire series. I mean, now he draws the worst post. He's not going to get the same trip.
And
I think he could be overbet a little bit.
I don't see that from the outside post though.
Okay, but he was less than 2 to 1, less than 6 to 1 from the 7 hole, less than 3 to 1 from the 6 hole,
But
even money.
Like you said, not in against Western Fame or JJ Flynn.
I agree, but I feel like that people are gonna flock to him. There's a lot of ones. I mean, I could be wrong, and you're probably gonna get 10 to 1, but is that enough? I don't know.
Realistically, I could see Western Fame going off at 4 to 5.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And so you take that into account of JJ Flynn being somewhere around 2 to 1.
Oh, no way.
He could.
You think
JJ
2 to
Flynn.
1?
JJ Flynn is the most logical second choice, and I think he could get bet.
Okay. I mean, I think that's a little short.
Well, I mean, who else are they going to bet in this race? I feel it's going to be pretty even outside of those two.
That's why I think the 8's gonna take more money than you think.
I say maybe.
The horse will take money.
Oh, Frost says Norris will take money, then Norris will take that money.
I think he's thinking the same way I am.
But
Yep.
Russ, we got to get into Rosecroft now.
Well,
Yeah, Russ, just give us your Rosecroft picks.
Well,
We're already at 11:15.
Well, we talked about
have to work tomorrow.
yeah. Well, we talked about Levy for 47 minutes, so I didn't even get to give you guys my pick in the race yet.
Let's go. Give it to us. I no problem. Let's spend some time on Rosecroft. Give you the
All right,
time.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Well, I'm gonna go with an upset here because I've been known to pull one of these off over the years. I'm gonna go with Rodeo Rock.
Oh,
How about that?
That horse makes sense.
that would
Certainly.
be a massive upset.
Matt,
Have you guys noticed the trend the last 2 or 3 races that we talk about closers winning?
Mhm.
You know what? I'm going to go with that trend again. You know what? Rodeo Rock was good the first couple races in the Levy, and yes, the horse got second and third the last couple weeks. Look, lost to Western Fame. No shame in that. The horse had a couple wins before that. That horse was going to make the final regardless. They were just trying to get second and third in there. I know they're trying to win every race, but second and third behind Western Fame, no shame in that. Why kill yourself before the big race for the big money? Think about it. Think about that.
My opinion is he got 2 perfect trips in his first 2 wins.
I'm thinking.
And then he was first up against Western Fame and got, basically run into the ground, even though it was the favorite somehow against him, which is unexplainable if you ask me. And then last time got another perfect trip.
Yeah, he does all the racing too. Western Fame is, Western Fame's always on the front every week, so he doesn't have to do any racing, just in the front every week. But if Rodeo Rock can get the trip like I think he's going to get, I think he might get 12 or 13 to 1. I don't think he's going to get bet at all.
It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
To me, the race looks like it shapes up on the betting board that the 3 and the 5 take the most money, and then the 1, 2, 4, and 6 are going to split a lot of money. And the 7 and
Can-Am
8
paid $87.17.
There you go. That's more than what I paid a couple weeks ago.
87-17. So Mike, you basically got even money.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. It's better than losing.
I had some prices that just didn't quite come through, but didn't do bad. I mean, I'll take it.
It's that spring equinox disrupting the circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
That's what's causing these favorites to win.
Well, I don't want to hold you guys up. Let's talk about this Rosecroft for Monday, not Sunday this week. It's a little thing called Easter. Everybody's going to be going to get their
That's not a little thing.
And their Easter egg hunts and everything.
Wait, but then
like
how's Jesus going to bet Rosecroft?
Santa Anita's still running 4-horse fields.
What's Jesus coming back for if Rosecroft's not racing?
Well, they got Pocono to race on Sunday. That's where I'll be on Sunday. If you guys want to meet the hustler in person, I'll be at Pocono on Sunday.
He'll
Signing
have
autographs.
He'll have as many sleeves on too.
I might even wear this so you guys can find me.
You should.
He will not wash it.
That'd be wise.
It will be donned in his juices.
Oh my God. My dad will be like, "What the heck are you wearing?" I'm like, my question is, "What the heck are you wearing?" And then
he'll say nothing.
Right, exactly.
And you'll say that's the problem. I've had the same thing with my father.
Right. So, all right, go ahead, Ray. You do your little intro there, and
I gotta open up my past performances. I didn't do that for Rosecroft. Here we go. Yes, Monday. Monday is, like they say, is the Lord's Sunday, except everyone has to go back to work. So really, it's the truest form of the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Something like that.
Yeah, at this point, I don't even think he's thinking. I'm definitely not thinking. I'm not here right now. I did not do this entire show. It was actually my sidekick, Cray Ottolo. So blame him for anything that he said, not me. Pick 3 though, Russ. Each and every race card at Rosecroft starts with the 4th race. Usually 13 races carded. Unlike the Sunday racing, Monday has the typical post time of 6:40 p.m.
Yeah, it's gonna be 6:40 here on Monday. Usually we race at 4:40 on Sunday, but we're just gonna push it back to 6:40. And we do have 2 opens on this card, so 2 of them. I can't believe it.
I'll be watching because I always watch Woodbine Mondays.
Yeah.
So I'll be watching a little Rosecroft on Monday.
And also, we're having a boxing event on Saturday. If you're in the Fort Washington, Maryland area, go check that out. There's some professional boxing. And no, I will not be fighting. So sorry about your luck on that.
My wallet thanks you.
You're welcome.
There are 9 horses kicking off the first leg of this pick 3. Of them, Abelard Hanover, former Open Stakes staple of the yesterday, now racing at $1 of 4,000. Alongside him, BP Burner, a horse who I remember from Woodstock. He's been racing decently on this circuit. And who can forget the aptly named PL Hoofhearted? Very clever.
Yes, very clever. It sounds like another name, but I won't say it on the air. But anyway, I'm going to go with Abelard Hanover. No surprise there.
Nope.
Racing better as of late and probably goes off as the favorite with speed. And I don't see a ton of that in here. So I'm thinking I'm going to see if we can get that sucker home. And then the second place horse is BP Burner, Ray's favorite Woodstock horse, according to him. Takes a drop in class. Jared Moyer does reunite. He is a Stone Cold closer. Could he round out the Exacta? Possibly. It wouldn't surprise me if the horse beat Abelard Hanover. That doesn't surprise me. And then your third place horse is Girl Crazy. And yes, the girls are crazy about me. No. But anyway, first time coming to Rosecroft in a long time. Girl Crazy's coming from Chester and Dover. The horse has had a little bit of struggles out there, but comes to Rosecroft, usually Phil Jasper I know his record doesn't indicate it right now, but Phil Jasper does win races at Rosecroft, and wouldn't surprise me if that horse showed up at a nice price with Kim Vincent in the sulky. And I'm going to go with 3-4-2. What about you guys?
Well, Mike, you should find Rosecroft in your inbox.
I did find it.
Okay, perfect.
Ooh.
I sent that a long time ago. I agree with you on Abelard Hanover. The horse fits this class level, and he has that speed advantage. My question is, what happens if Spinout doesn't park the mile? Opposed to you, Russ.
Spin out.
Yes.
I don't expect Spin out to be much involved in this race at all. To be honest with you, I think he's just going to sit back because he's not going to be able to go with Abelard Hanover. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's got a good post, but the horse is just he can only win in the lower level and just can't get much higher than 25. A couple years ago, I would have said yes, this horse has a shot, but it's tough, much tougher horses here. I just don't see it, and I know Mike he might pick this Tidewater Titan again because I know how much he loves him. So
well, I just posed that question because Spinout's shown sudden speed in his last two starts. Sure, he had the rail two starts back, so he's obligated to show speed. But last time he had post 4, and he still left. Sure, he didn't leave at Abelard Hanover speeds, but if he shows that kind of speed this time, he could just be sitting pocket.
Yeah, well, that's not usually his type of trip. He doesn't want to trip first over. That's not his ball game.
Yeah.
He needs to get a second or third over trip or be on the front. He hates being first over. Every time he's first over, look what happened. He finished 8 by a century. So that's not his forte. Never will be. I've seen his horse race here for a few years. I've never seen him win a race first over at Rosecroft ever. But anyway.
I'm not sure why you guys like the 3 necessarily. I get the class, but this horse has been basically the same spots the last 2 races, and had inside posts and never left the rail, and was 20-1, 6-1. Now it's 2-1 morning line. This isn't my type. I'd rather find others. Horse like the 2 that's a stranger in the race, like Russ said. I think the 4 is a definite use, dropping back numbers of 4,000. Just won that March 17th. And the 6 is sharp right now, and he's coming up the ladder. And I don't care if you guys don't like him because he's good enough, and he's going to be a price again. So I prefer those ones. 2, 4, 6.
That's a good mention on the 2. Also shipping in from Dover, another one that has shown speed in the past. For me, I'd probably just go 2, 3. In this race. Crazy shipping in from Harris Philly and Abelard just with his speed. Second leg of the pick 3. Ooh, we've got $4,000 claimers, Russ.
Oh, it's great. I can't wait.
The best horses on the grounds. 9 of them lining up.
You're being too kind to us.
Well, actually, it's not the 4,000 claimers. If you're looking at the program, it's the claiming 4. Ooh. they used O's instead of zeros. The 4 ooh. These are 4 ooh claimers. Now you're going postward. Russ.
I saw that. I was like, oh my god.
Russ. Who's gonna win?
Ooh, it will definitely not be Putnam Storm or Macho McGraw or Brody's song. That I can tell you right now.
Okay, you eliminated half of them. Thank you for that.
Just saved you half the race right there. But anyway, I'm going to go with the 7 horse. Harry Callis, just let me win one race. Please. I was on a little cold streak last week, so please let me win. It's Out of Here is the 7 horse. I'm going to go with him. He raced pretty well against Pace Car last week. Pace Car is actually moving up in the claiming rings. That's why you don't see Pace Car this week. And then if you see in the program line, Nowhere's a race last 2 starts. That's why Pace Car is not in here because he pretty much dominated this race last week at odds on at 1-5. So without that horse, I just don't see It's Out of Here losing. The horse has early speed and should be able to cut the fractions softly, and Wagner will probably get his second or third win on the card at this point. So I'm going to go with the 7 on top I'm going to use Gin Dandy for a second. The horse, I will say, was way too far back. Way too far back last week. I was like, are you kidding me? You need to be a little closer than that. And he did make up a lot of ground, got second at a good old 12-1. So you got to be a little bit closer than that. And then the third place horse, I'm going to go with Totally Dreamy. And hopefully people don't think I'm totally dreamy. But anyway, this horse has taken a slight drop from the 5 claimer to the not to the claiming 4. And J-Rob gets in the bike for the first time. So we'll see if this horse can get more involved. Russell Foster just couldn't get this horse involved. Plus he had outside and bad posts on top of it. So it wasn't completely all his fault. But he does get a much better post. You get J-Rob, who's been driving really well at Rosecroft. It is limited appearances, usually on Sundays. And he was there last Wednesday, but usually just Sundays he's there. So I'm going to go with the good old 784 for the Hustler. How about you guys?
Well, Mike, for me, I don't see anything outside of the 4 or the 7.
I'm not crazy about the 7 just because, and I could see him. I mean, he could definitely win the race.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like the price is going to be bad. The 4 is a definite use, just off the draw and the drop. I'm pretty sure we liked the 6 Wake Up and Go last time and off that tough trip on March 31st and missed a week. And then another too far back trip from the 8 hole, moves inside a little bit. You're going to get a much better price. So I think that one's worth the use. And then the other 2 on the outside, the 8 Gin Dandy gets into a claiming spot. Has been closing well. I think he's a use. And the 9 3 Riversdale used to be a Mohawk horse, and drops. Has burned plenty of money since arriving here, but that's about as low as it's been in a while. So I would probably use those ones.
Totally
4,
dreamy.
6, 8, 9.
Totally Dreamy finally returns to the class level where he was claimed from, and also won on March 24th. Has since raced against Tougher, tried to get into the race against Tougher, but has mostly lost against Tougher. Now back in this group, he should bounce back in some way, shape, or form. And if he doesn't, it's out of here. Was runner-up to a better horse last time out. He has gate speed. If he uses that gate speed, he's going to be gonzo. 4-7 for me. Final legs, the 6th race. Oh, you thought the last race was great, Russ. These are bottom-level condition pacers. In the 6th race.
Can't beat it.
It's just the greatest horses congregating for this pick 3 sequence.
I swear, I have to have the toughest assignment in all of harness racing. I get more of these races than probably any handicapper in racing.
Have you tried handicapping Cal Expo?
Oh, well, that one's pretty. That's hard.
It is hard.
I'm trying to be the politically correct kind of guy. But I don't know how to do that. So it's tough. Whoever the handicapper is out there, they got a tough job as well. But anyway, in the 6th race here at Rosecroft, let's go with a new shooter here in the Greg Trotto barn, first time. The 7 horse, a card that's wild. So I wish I had playing cards so I could give you guys a wild card, but I don't have one of those because someone stole mine. But anyway,
what?
Playing cards.
Someone stole your deck of cards?
Yeah, no. I just don't know where they're at. I was going to use.
You could buy a set of those like online at Walmart. Like just look at the
Yeah, I know. I have
buys at the checkout counter. Typically, they are playing cards.
I do have some in my house. I do have thoroughbred racing cards, by the way.
Hmm.
But anyway, we're getting off track, so let's go back to on track. By the way, this is the first time Greg Trotto, like I mentioned earlier. You get Frank Bilby in the bike for the first time. So I'm gonna suspect this horse is gonna be a lot closer to the front, not be several lengths back at the start. And when I looked at the rest of this field, I'm like, why not? And I'm gonna also say the 2nd place horse is Delco Liar. Hopefully, I'm not lying about this horse being in the exacta. Kim Vincent does drive this one. He's been pretty much a regular driver on that one the last 3 or 4 weeks. Horse needs to get into the race. He has no speed whatsoever. I don't feel bad. I have no speed either. So I'm gonna say he'll get a 2nd or 3rd over trip and Kimmy gets along with this horse okay. If he can get this horse involved somehow, some way, could the horse even win the race? Sure. The horse is a little camera shy lately, but it wouldn't surprise me in this wide open field of 1250 non-winners. For the horse for third, I'm going to go with Beckett Hanover. Fourth time in this class, of more or less a regular. Likely gets a share in here. I know he was off a scratch sick 2 starts back. Timmy Offit is 4 for 132. That is tough to take, but he does get into the exacta and tries a lot. So consider him in the underneath a lot. But if you consider him to win, not so much. But I'm going to go with 735. How about you, lovely gentlemen?
Well, you used one of the horses I liked. You didn't use the other 2 I liked. Let's see if Mike used the other 2 I liked.
Yeah. I can't read your mind.
1's dropping, use. 4's dropping, use. And agree on the 7. I was 147.
Oh, wow. I'm 467. Sam Crow on the drop-in class. You noted that one. A card that's wild. We already talked about that one. Frost Advisory for me gets an improved draw. Clearly just had no interest last time out. Start before that showed some speed. Just unfortunately parked the mile in doing so. Finished 5th by 11 lengths. And the last time this horse had a post similar was back on March 17th when he again parked the mile. So if he just gets, if he can get off the gate, sit up close, not park the mile, maybe just sit at the rail, not park the mile, and just save some kind of ground by not parking the mile, he could be involved at a price. But he's going to have to beat the 4 and the 7, certainly. I threw him on purely as a price contender. 4, 6, 7 for me, which makes my pick 3 as follows for 50 cents. Starting in race 4, I'm 2-3 with 4, 7, with 4, 6, 7 at $6. Mike.
I was 2, 4, 6 with 4, 6, 8, 9 with a 1, 4, 7. It's 36 for $1.
And Russ.
Well, I am just shocked that you picked Frost Advisory. You know, my dad says to me, "You know who my least favorite horse is?"
Oh, wait, Secretariat.
I'm like, "Dad, what's your least favorite horse?" And he tells me Frost Advisory. And he's like, "Why?" He's like, "Every time I bet him, he does nothing for me." So now my dad didn't bet him, so you should bet him, Ray.
Well, he's over his last 42, for God's sakes. I mean,
yeah, he's 6 for 127, Ray. I don't know. I might retire if that horse.
Still beating him.
I might retire if that horse wins.
Hey, I've seen weirder things happen in bottom level trots.
It's a pace though. But anyway. But anyway, I'm gonna single the 3 horse in this first leg. Then I'm gonna go 4, 7, 8 in the second leg, and then in the third leg, I'm going to go 1, 3, 5, 7, and I'm just going to leave the 9 out. So I have all the odds except for the 9. So that is a $6 ticket, and I'm still in shock that you picked Frost Advisory. I actually walked off.
That's a typical red horse,
again, it's partially it's a kind of for fun horse to throw on just to give it some kind of price, but at the same time, I could see it happening if all goes wrong.
I mean, you might as well pick 3 hangovers.
Well, no, because I don't want to feel that right now. My head hurts just thinking about it.
I think we're done, boys.
Yeah.
That does it for North American Harness Update. I have to go return to my home planet. They're worried sick about me as much as I'm worried sick about these enchiladas I ate that were a week old. Mike Prebosi, he's Russ Adams Jr. No, he's just Russ Adams. Rod being gone has thrown me through a loop. My astrological sign is all torn up, wispy, wavy.
Not the first time your ass has been torn.
And for everyone out there who has things to do, people to meet, places to be, just make sure at some point you empty the dishwasher.
You should have just ended on mine.
Oh my God.